All right, guys, let's pop into this Pearl video. The fall of Just Pearly Things. Most toxic in capitals. Pick me. Yeah, let's have some fun today because this beat is sick. I want to take a ride. I don't know if I could say these words in the beginning of a video.
I actually think that like women like to be cheated on.
Bass, dude, I'm telling my wife right now.
Did anyone tell you they like being cheated on?
I mean, they didn't say that, but their action. Men are the superior.
What action communicates that they like that behavior? The only action that would be communicate that is if you were like okay with them cheating, like Pearl says you should be.
Beings. Sorry, feminists. I don't know what to tell you.
Sorry, feminists. Sorry, feminists. I don't know what to tell you.
Tragedy is ignored in pursuit of a happy mind. Those who seek more venture beyond the veil. They venture into the vortex.
Unconditionally defend all men while simultaneously bashing all women.
Your statement that 16-year-old minors are more attractive than adult women. What?
That's messed up, Pearl. Why would you say that?
I think Pearl is a...
I remember when she was a young girl in my DMs. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How old is she anyway? Oh, she's like 27 now. Right? Oh yeah, she's 27. That was like 4 years ago. Okay. Anyway, on TikTok, asking me for advice, and now she's just such a meanie bobini.
No, I think she's really fucking stupid.
We don't need personal pronouns. I don't think it's kind to allow people to live in delusion. I'm doing this for money. Women divorce for
You live in delusion, so.
no reason all the time.
You just need to talk to more people.
It's all about money to me.
You guys aren't going to stop. I do think men and women cheating is different.
The fact people are making these videos is my own fault.
Maybe. Thank you so much for the 14-month medium gut from With Love. Miki, what game is that? Predecessor.
And the situation that I'm in is my own fault.
By the way, Pearl's 27 and still not married. And I know people get upset with me when I say this sometimes, but like, listen, if you're like, she's not even in a relationship. I judge you a little bit if you're not like married by 30. If you got married and divorced, I get it. But if you're not like married by 30, I'm judging you a little bit. Man or woman, by the way. Content advisory. Ooh, flashing lights. Are you saying that it's going to have a Kanye song in it?
Thank you for sponsoring this video. More about them in a little bit.
They criticize me at all costs. I know maybe that hope is lost.
Damn, she's starting strong with that video, with that.
I'll be the villain if that's
I'll be the villain if that's what you want.
what you want. I'll be the
If that's what you want. Guys, I'm Amy Winehouse.
demon if that's what you need.
I've never heard an Amy Winehouse. I know a song.
What if you spent your whole life wanting nothing more than a relationship, and then you
What if you spent your whole life being talked down to by your mom? Pearl. Because she's effectively admitted that.
went down a career path that would ensure that no one would ever love you?
She has made her entire career catering to those type of men.
Oh yeah, I heard I was in this video, by the way. Hopefully it's all good things.
And they don't even want.
That is true. It's creating a male victim complex, really.
Well, with 7-something billion people in the world, I doubt that'll ever happen to you. Don't worry. But the one person that it's most likely to happen to is Pearl Davis, known online as Just Pearly Things.
And like I know she has always wanted
Oh yeah, that was her friend that's married.
to get married and start a family. So she would ask me for advice on that.
Marriage in 2023 isn't marriage. It is not marriage today.
What is it?
Like it's something else.
How do you know? What, are you married? Mind you, Guild Wars 2 been a while, bro. My Guild Wars 2 account was stolen. I'm never playing again.
Real wife does not get divorced. She doesn't believe in it, and she will make the relationship work at all costs, even at the expense of herself.
Well, no. Listen, relationships are hard, but if you're getting like abused or something in a relationship, you shouldn't be staying just to keep it going. Okay. The fear of potential divorce for any person is like a good thing, because then it should keep you in line of like, if I mistreat this person, they might leave me, and I don't want that. So, you know.
Find a good woman and marry young. And these guys say, okay, let me go do it. And then she takes the kids and ruins his life.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Don't wait till 35 to get married. Get married as young as you can.
Right.
What about you, Pearl?
Get married as young as you can.
Yeah.
To the family and friends closest to Pearl Davis, or as they knew her, Hannah Pearl Davis.
Oh my God, look at all these children. This looks like a cult. What?
Pearl was not always the surly and embittered internet figure directing anger and outrage towards the female population, which she just so happens to be a part of.
It's a performance. She's acting. She's getting everybody riled up. All of a sudden, she's like, I'm gonna do red pill content.
She probably talks about it in person. She's like, oh yeah, so I'll act. Oh. You know how she laughs like a weirdo, you know?
To the extreme.
Till one day, virtually overnight, Pearl became swept up into the undercurrent of the manosphere. Who is Pearl Davis, or Just Pearly?
Yeah, the same people who like once she used to do like competitive sports, and then I think her coach like started hitting on her. And then the manosphere is like, well, it's kind of your fault. But I'm talking about when she was like under 18, so it's really gross.
Things. And what was her role in this massive web of rot that eats away at our online culture and adds to our divide and our vitriol? Why did a person who had a happy family, a bright future, a path paved for her,
because her mommy is mean to her,
throw it all away for a platform to spew negative rhetoric?
The biggest female voice of the red pill movement. You say things like women shouldn't be allowed to divorce their husbands, that men should demand a DNA test at the delivery of their children.
I mean, if a guy wants a DNA test, sure. But like, you know, I don't need a DNA test for my wife, you know? Because I'm fucking her.
You say things like women shouldn't be allowed to vote.
There should be mandatory DNA testing at birth. No. I don't know why.
That'd be just ridiculous. I think I already think that you can as a man. You can say I want a DNA test at birth, and you know you'll get it. So it's not like a big deal. But like mandatory DNA testing.
It's calling my wife a whore.
Ultimately leading to her reputation being damaged forever, her image forever hated by most people on all sides of the aisle.
You do everything that you can to throw women under the bus for the sake of looking good in front of men, and those men go online and say stuff like this.
Do you know why Pearl is available? Because even though she says the right things that men resonate with, she's masculine. Men and women do not go online and sit on podcasts and argue with men all day long.
And ultimately,
base, I guess,
leading to her demonetization on the YouTube platform.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the demonetization happened because she was like, she filmed like a 15-year-old or something without the 15-year-old's consent, and then the mom's like, take this down, and she refused to. So he demonetized her. So kind of funny.
Her internet virality collapsing in on itself like a dying star. An enemy to everyone has a friend in no one. But
ooh, that was a hard line. Thank you so much. $2 from Dummy Durs. Hey, Ricky Gervais, love the stream. Keep it up. Okay, thanks, man.
When their eyes are set on lining their pockets, how long will it take for them to notice or care? And how much will they burn along the way in their path to destruction? Hi, friends and internet acquaintances. Welcome back to another video on my channel covering controversial internet figures and the harm that they inflict during their time on the internet. If you like that sort of content, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this video, please give it a like and comment down below what other controversial internet figures you'd like me to cover. Now, before we get into this
don't cover me, dude.
Video, let's talk about the sponsor. This year, a new financial goal of mine has been to budget smartly.
You know the rules, guys. When we react to a video, we gotta watch their sponsor, okay?
So that I can save enough money to be able to travel more. Something that I haven't really been able to do much of, and I'm hoping to get a chance to do more in the next coming years. But
yeah, my wife keeps saying that she really wants to go to Disney again, so
being able to track multiple expenses and income streams and reduce monthly expenses can be a challenge to tackle all on my own. Well, today's sponsor, Rocket Money, is here to help.
Today's sponsor, Rocket Power. We are riders. All right, I'm not doing the rest of the bit.
My partner and I have been using Rocket Money since the summer of 2023 and have found the platform to be such a useful tool for a variety of financial needs. As you know, if you've been a longtime viewer on my channel and have seen my journey firsthand with Rocket Money, I love using Rocket Money to lower my bills because you can simply...
I prefer my dog's red rocket. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Upload a photo of your bill, tap a few buttons, and Rocket Money will negotiate your bills for you. From internet service to cable and phone bills.
But they negotiate them? They'll message my Netflix and try to lower it? What?
Rocket Money also helps you set budgets, analyze your spending habits, and create a custom budget that works with your lifestyle. Automatically monitor your spending by category, and then get notifications when you've exceeded your limits. You can also set up smart savings. Choose the amount and the frequency, and Rocket Money will automatically deposit money into a smart savings account, and you can withdraw anytime. All of these features keep me on track with my financial goals and make me feel more secure in my finances. Save more and spend less. Join the over 5 million members using Rocket Money today. Go to rocketmoney.com/cruelworldhappymind or click the link in the description to get started for free. That's rocketmoney.com/cruelworldhappymind. And thank you so much to Rocket Money for continually supporting the channel. The harm of JustPearlyThings and the hurtful rhetoric that she's spread has
the harm of Papa Gut. So good.
Been rooted in red pill ideology and primarily the manosphere. So before we can talk about who JustPearlyThings is as a person, it's important to address the topic of the manosphere and paint the tapestry of what the manosphere is and what role Pearl began to play in it. There's a wide debate about when the manosphere really began. I could talk in extensive length about how—
I mean, it was pretty much when the Andrew Tate blew up. When it began, I'm sure it's been around for a long time. Like you have Kevin Samuels and stuff like that. But Andrew Tate really put it on the map and made it something that a lot of young men resonated with because they saw a guy with money that was just cool and he got pussy. And that's what, guys want. And now they realize he's just a sex trafficking rapist. So, at least the smart ones that actually look at what's going on. Thank you so much for the $2 from Papa Gut's father. Okay. Hey, son. Love the streams. Great work. Thanks, Dad. It feels a lot to me. I didn't get my ult. Fuck!
How the history of the manosphere technically extends all the way to the 1970s as a sort of byproduct of the men's liberation movement, which as a movement was once a sort of ally to feminism, but then split off as a group and decided to sort of start their own band.
Kind of based.
Because they wanted to be picked, not associated with the feminists.
Fuck.
You know, they were the original pick-me's, if you will.
This is a historic day. I've never seen a gathering like this out of concern for the general state of affairs for men and boys.
So the men's liberation movement began advocating for the patriarchy, pushing to bring back male dominance.
They always wanted to have
Kind of based, guys. Kind of based. I mean, I don't really want all the responsibility. You know, I don't need no male dominance. I'm not trying to have all that responsibility. Too much.
women that we are so special, amazing, and awesome at all times. You know, men used to bow down to kings, and now they bow down to women in marriage and when they propose. The feminist programming has
Bow down to kings. What? I don't know if I bow down. What? Bowing down to a king is cringe, by the way. Okay.
infiltrated
this guy sucks.
and influenced relationship advice.
This is an oversimplification, but just so you get the general picture. You know, the same sort of rhetoric that we hear now still, that men are...
Men used to bow down to kings. They used to get on their knees for other men. Now they're getting on their knees for women? That's gay. What? That's incredible.
Too soft. They walk around in frills and skirts. We need to bring back strong men.
Can we bring back masculine men?
Even though men used to...
I mean, we have masculine men around still. We also have masculine women now, too. So, you know, we have more feminine, women and feminine men. You know what I mean? Like, we just got different brands. I'm gonna fuck you up, dude.
Look and dress like this, or this, or this. That guy looks particularly strong. Though, to be fair,
he does look very strong. Very handsome guy.
he is hunched over a weapon of sorts, and he has a sword on his person. Not many people carry swords around nowadays, so maybe that's what they mean by bringing back strong men. Anyways, since the 1970s, not a lot has changed. Well, actually, a lot has changed, but most of these male movements are in agreement that somehow women are...
I prefer battle movements.
Also the problem as they advance further and further on the battlefield of gaining human rights and become further and further educated and have access to more jobs and more degrees, therefore more income and more choices in
Yeah, they have the ability to not have to be under like the thumb of a piece of shit man, you know? So
turn, rather than having to marry the first last to give them an offer in order to have any sort of financial stability.
And then hope that the guy doesn't beat the shit out of them, which is something that's generally considered okay because women were considered property back then. That's what it is. It's a lot of weak. The reality is, it's a lot of weak men who can't handle like a strong woman that can make her own decisions. That's all it is. So they're just pathetic losers. Like they want women that can't fight back because they're pathetic. Like that's all it is. They're like the fucking bully that's in 4th grade that bullies 1st graders. Like they don't want a fair fight. They don't want an even fight. They don't want somebody that can stick up for themselves or have like similar tools to them to be able to defend themselves. Thank you so much for the 2-month small gut from Crab Ragooner. Where's your sword, real man? That's a good. I have an axe. All right, maybe I'll get it later, but I'm in the middle of a game, so.
Women are sharing space. Let's grow the f up and don't confuse suffrage with oppression.
Yeah, this guy's gay. I'm just kidding. That's a little rude. Okay.
Everyone suffers. It's universal.
How dare they? The audacity of women getting an education and wanting to choose who enters their nether regions.
Exactly. What's wrong with you, girl?
It used to go God, men, women, children, but now men
God, men, women, children.
and submit to women's authority, which, as you guys know, I believe that causes evil in the world.
Now,
okay, cool.
While much of the
unironically, a man that was uncontrolled is an evil man. Like, I mean, I think that men have the ability to move mountains, but I think that a man without regulation does not move in any mountains. They're being a piece of shit. Like, unregulated men can be very dangerous. That's why I think women are a very good balance to men, to be honest with you. You know, I'm not saying that gay people aren't cool too. There's just, I'm not gay, so I can't speak on gay dudes, but...
General concepts since the men's liberation movement haven't changed too much. They have evolved with the evolution of the internet. Various online communities popping up and trying to tackle this horrifying problem. One of the most well-known online ideologies that sprung from this is the Red Pill. Red Pill online forums and communities can be traced all the way back to the early 2000s. The Red Pill community is a reference to the Matrix, and Red Pillers believe that
I like how they believe everything's like a conspiracy. But they believe in the movie that exposed to the conspiracy. That's my favorite part.
They've been awakened or enlightened to the truth of society, and that they perceive the harsh realities of gender dynamics, and that everyone else has misconceptions or has sort of illusions about gender and gender roles in society.
Tell me, what does red pill mean to you? Because I've heard you use that phrase a lot. You're part of the red pill community.
Yeah, I mean, It's a lot of
More
people.
like
I will
the
say a
base
lot of
build.
people have their own definitions of it, so people use it for different things. But I would say it's viewing the world the way it's supposed to be.
Well, if there's different definitions, what are you guys LGBTQ? You can't come up with one definition.
Or like the way it is, not the way you're told it is.
On the other side of the coin is the
you know what I mean, fellas?
manosphere, which is characterized by these prominent
stupid.
influencers that have rose to fame and virality and internet popularity online through speaking to very similar issues, gender dynamics and traditionalism and anti-feminism. There are quite a few categories of influencers in the manosphere, but in my opinion, the most popular ones are debaters.
But women by and large are fatter than men. Women, and if you go in the U.S., the woman's always fatter.
In the U.S.
Well, I mean, like women's bodies are designed to hold a little bit more fat than men's bodies. That's right. That's like a fact. So even if women are a little fatter, they're supposed to be. I think they're supposed to hold a little more body fat. That's why my understanding is that men who are overweight are less healthy than women who are overweight. And like, at least anecdotally, that's true. I have fucking high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high cholesterol. My wife has none of those things, and we're both overweight, right? I'm not saying it's healthy to be fat. I'm just saying women's bodies are designed more to hold more weight. But she's just trying to say that like women are fat and undeserving of male attention. So.
US, the average BMI for a man is 26.6, and the average BMI for a woman is 26.5.
Oh, damn, she's wrong.
Stand corrected.
Podcasters.
Fuck out of here! Because when I was 18 years old, playing Halo, figuring out my life, no bitch would have taken me. So now that I'm up, you're down. Fuck that shit. I'm gonna exercise the leverage.
Pickup artists.
I was 18 years old playing Halo. I'm the true victim.
My personal favorite.
Not to give you a hard time. You know who hits on people? Betas.
Okay?
Betas do. You know what alphas do?
They just hit people. That's what they do. Alphas just beat the shit out of women. Fuck them. Fuck women.
Win. That's it. They just win. They don't need to do. They're just like, what's up? And then it's just.
They're just like, what's up? I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
Hey, I'm Ari. Nice to meet you.
What's up? And then it's just on.
How can people be so wrong so confidently? The worst of them are the street interviewees, in my opinion, who usually target primarily women on the street, trying to catch them off guard in an interview, sometimes even seemingly targeting women in a not sober state in order to demean or embarrass them in a public format.
Men care about a woman's body count.
Do you? People actually care about that? If a man is asking my body count, he can get fucked. Who gives a fuck?
Well, that's the goal, isn't it? What's your body count? I want to get fucked by you. You know what I mean? With the strap on.
If a man is ever asking about your body count, you're talking to the wrong man.
I mean, I think in general, it's okay to ask somebody's body count, man or woman. But there's a difference between like going on a date with a girl, saying, "What's up, girl? How are you?" Maybe chatting like, "Hey, how many guys have you been with?" Because here's the thing. It's a question that comes from insecurity. But insecurity is okay. It's okay if I don't want to sleep with a girl that has, 20 bodies. I have that many, so I'm kind of a degenerate, so I guess it'd be kind of hypocritical. But like, I actually don't care about body count. But my point is like, it's okay for you to be a little insecure. It's okay as a man to be like, yeah, like, but that's where it kind of comes from. There's two reasons that you wouldn't want to go with a higher body count. One, you might think that they have an STD. Two, you might be insecure about not being very good in bed. And it's okay that you are those things, but you shouldn't degrade somebody for that. No, a man and a woman having a high body count is equally degenerate and disgusting, just to be clear. So,
if one key can open many locks,
if one key can open many locks, then my girl can suck many cocks. Incredible.
No, if a woman is an analogy to you, then you're not ready to be talking to a woman.
There are also sort of branches.
I understand it's easier for women to have sex. Okay, that doesn't change the fact that it's degenerate behavior to fuck a bunch of people. Get over here, pussy.
The manosphere. And while there can be a lot of debate whether or not someone is or isn't a manosphere influencer, in this video, I'll define manosphere influencers as those who have identified as such. The article in the conversation explains the allure of the manosphere to young internet users. The manosphere appeals to its audience because it speaks to the very real lives of young men under the above factors: romantic rejection, alienation.
Well, I think the manosphere, what it really does more than anything else is, well, one, nobody else is really talking about issues that men are dealing with in like a meaningful way. There was a lot of toxicity when it came from like female advocation, especially in 2020, from like a lot of young people. But another thing is that it gives so there's no other solution other than the manosphere solution. But then on top of it, it promotes like a victim complex that says that like nothing is really your fault, and people like it when they're not to blame for anything. Right, like that's a human thing. It's like, wait a minute, you're saying that it's not my fault women won't fuck me? It has nothing to do with the fact that I don't shower or try to develop social skills, And there are issues with men. Like it's tough, man. It's tough to be a dude sometimes because one, you're expected to hit on the girl. You know what I mean? You're expected to make the first move, which gets frustrating because now if you make the first move, sometimes you're told like, hey, you're kind of a creep, which can be like a frustrating type of a situation. Generally speaking, men are expected to make more in the relationship. They're expected to provide more financially for the person that they're with. And so with it being difficult in general to just fucking live and have money, that puts a little bit of a disproportionate bit on men. there are issues like that, of course. We have a society that's very technologically driven, which is making it difficult for people to talk in person without it seeming weird or creepy. There's less social interactions. Fathers aren't in the households, and the dads teach their sons how to be men, and they teach their daughters how to be treated by men, which is why I think that like there are women who are putting up with shitty men. You know, there's a lot going on. You know,
economic failure, loneliness, and a dim version of the future.
We're just warning you of what female nature is.
There are people who have made an entire career off of easy, hateful content that garners outrage and negative reception and creates virality simply because it's easily engaged.
I'm viral. I got a pretty viral.
Engaged with. It doesn't require any sort of critical thought. Therefore, people quickly react to it, which drives influencers' engagement up. And the manosphere has become a massive cauldron for brewing problematic influencers who utilize this strategy. A really well-written article titled "Meet the Misogynistic Manosphere Influencers Proliferating Across Social Media" has a great quote about manosphere influencers. Manosphere influencers use their isolated and indoctrinated community members to profit, often selling self-help and guru-style assistance for a price and to keep a steady revenue stream.
I think it's safe to say that Pearl has changed her business plan in order to make money off of the manosphere.
No, Mia, I'm not selling anything.
Based on what I know through observation,
Well, yeah, she's selling an idea. She's selling a victim complex to weak men.
her particular target audience is a male. This is where Pearl's content and marketing sits. She is constantly hitting pain points and triggers. The challenges and the pain points for her particular customer, client, and fan is not being heard, not being seen, not feeling valued, and not having access to women.
In other words, influencers within the manosphere pander to vulnerable men who are feeling isolated, alone, in need of help, pretending to be a resource when in reality, they see these vulnerable men as their resource for income. Pearl Davis exemplifies this perfectly. The manosphere does not hate on women. It lets men know the reality of the situation. Men, we're here to help you. Give us your money.
The reality of the situation, baby. Listen, you don't want a girl who's going to put up with the manosphere, man. Let's just be real, okay? You really don't want. You don't want a weak woman. You don't want a woman who's not going to give you pushback. Because here's the thing: as a man myself, like I am very, I can be very dominant, right? Which sounds like a good thing, but I have a habit of making decisions for people. Okay, I go, this is probably the right thing to do, and so I make that decision, right? I make that decision. I'm a man, and in the past, it hasn't worked out too well when you're with a woman who doesn't really stand up for themselves or advocate for themselves. Is what I want to say. But now my wife, I can make a decision, and if she doesn't like it, she just tells me, I don't like this decision, and boom, I got instant feedback. I don't have to worry. I don't have to, it's easier. It's just better. I don't have to worry about steamrolling her or making her feel uncomfortable because she'll tell me, like, I don't like this. Oh, wait, what the fuck? Oh, fuck. She'll tell me, I don't like this thing.
Give us your engagement. We're not going to send you on a path of more hate, more loneliness, more division after you waste all of your time, money, and effort engaging with our content. We're not going to suck the soul and life out of you so that you become more
Shit, I want my wife to suck the soul out of me, boy.
Divided against women, which ends up making your problem even worse. No, come to us. We'll help you. We're just letting you know the reality. So, in theory, the manosphere slowly transformed into a platform of influencers of somewhat varying ideologies, but all centered around, well, centering men. And these influencers are profiting off of men continuing to stay lonely and divided.
Her entire channel's premise is to focus on the injustice.
That's true. I mean, they're not exactly helping you get pussy. They're helping you stay dry, fellas.
Against men and how women aren't empathetic enough to them.
It's a simple fact, really. Whether these influencers are just profiting off of ad revenue, whether they're selling books, doing tours, podcasts, or as lowly of a practice as shilling out needless and unnecessary advice courses for desperate people looking for love, wealth, connection. The fact of the matter is, many influencers have found a way to make a lot of money.
Fuck, I should have ulted sooner. I fucking was laughing and that guy flashed on me and then I let him kill me.
Off of the manosphere. And one of these influencers who stumbled onto the unlocked potential of the manosphere was the influencer Pearl.
Damn, that was a scary picture, man.
One of these influencers who stumbled onto the unlocked potential of the manosphere was the influencer.
Oh my god. Did you put that on the internet for herself? I gotta take a copy of that.
Influencer Pearl.
Men are the superior beings. Sorry, feminists. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. It's always a weird thing when people say that like women or men are superior because men are like generally physically stronger, absolutely, and all that, whatever. But like men can't shoot babies out of their pussy, So I guess some men can if you're a liberal. So it's like men and women both have things that they are better at, generally speaking. It's like, okay, why are we sitting here talking about that? Like, I think it's a beautiful thing for a woman to carry a baby. Like, if a woman is willing to carry your baby for you, that's incredible. Like, she's going to sit there for 9 months, and then she's going to push out a baby out of her pussy that's going to change her body forever. And all our bodies change, but like, what a thing. Do you know it's normal for women as they get older to have their bladders to just kind of fall out? Like, it just kind of hangs into like their fucking vagina or something. My mommy's getting a surgery for that. I don't know why I said mommy. Let's ignore that I said that. Like, I think that's an incredible thing. That's like I don't want to do that. So I love my wife. I'm very appreciative that she's going to have my baby. Because that's incredible. And it's like, what do I got to do? She's just going to be annoying for 9 months? She's already annoying now, you know? So, like, yeah, we got to endure the hormonal changes. I'm not going to lie. You know, those can be annoying. But it's just like, damn, like, what do we get? That's fucking crazy. You know, it's cool. Here, pussy. I'm going to fuck you up.
Pearl credits the former beloved to the manosphere and now past influencer Kevin Samuels for, well, influencing her and opening her up to the world of the manosphere. Pearl credits Kevin for introducing her to the red pill community.
Well, she has to, because Kevin is considered like a legend in that community.
Made you cross all the way over to red pill.
Well, I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you why. I love black cock, and I like to watch black cock and cock that's black in my mouth. I'm not trying to be rude. She likes black guys. Like, that's the only guys but they don't want her. They don't want her. Because she's an ugly white girl. Sorry, that's a little mean, but...
It was Kevin Samuels was what kind of started to red pill me.
And Pearl claims that Kevin Samuels...
It's black cock that started to red pill me.
Manosphere rhetoric opened...
No, baby. God, my wife came into here right when I said she was annoying. You're not annoying, okay? Stop.
...her up to a whole new world of manosphere ideology.
All high-value men cheat. And I was so confused because my dad's a high... Like he listed out the things that they have to be. And it was like my dad was all of them except LinkedIn because my dad doesn't have social media. They said all high-value men cheat and have mistresses. So I called my dad. I'm like, where are your hoes, dad?
The fact that...
It's so funny.
Was interested in the manosphere through Kevin Samuels is an interesting part of this story, just in how it comes into play later on in this video. Much of what made Kevin Samuels so infamous is the...
I mean, listen, I'm a man, and I think that there are men who have urges. Right? It's like this dominant thing. Like, I'll never have the sex better than with my wife, but it's like a dominant thing. But a man who's unregulated is like a weak person. You know, why are we praising like, oh, it's cheating, haha, it's so funny. Like, it's not. It's a bad thing that's like destructive to a relationship. And you're going to throw away an entire relationship that could be limitlessly beneficial to you for what? For some fucking shitty pussy, you know what I mean? Some poopy pussy. It's a weak characteristic to give into that kind of shit. But like Pearl thinks it's like a funny little meme, but it's destructive to a relationship. Where are you going? Oh shit!
Content that he would make where he would ask women to rate themselves based on what he called their perceived sexual marketplace value, which is a manosphere term for basically people's perceived physical attractiveness, likening people to rating economic products. Manosphere influencers often do this, comparing women to various inanimate objects.
But why is it all about what we can offer? Why is it all about what we can? Because when you're trying to sell a car, if you're trying to get married, right? Please, I'm not saying that women are cars. It's just an analogy. But if you're trying to sell...
Well, no, you want to offer people things, but like Pearl legitimately does objectify women and puts them as a lower class than men. But yes, you need to offer value to the person that you want to be with. But they're not a car, okay?
A car, you have to study the buyer and figure out what the buyers want.
Okay. She says she's not comparing a woman to a car, but she is comparing a woman to a car.
But Samuels would go on in his content to critique women based on their physical appearance, what they were wearing, what they looked like, their weight, their age.
I've never watched Kevin Samuels in any meaningful capacity, so I don't know how good or bad he is.
You are in excess of 200 pounds.
So if I wanted a high value man, what do I do?
Be reincarnated. The guys you...
Okay. That's kind of funny.
Aren't asking you out. The fuck out of my phone. The rest of us do not have to suffer you.
And most of Kevin Samuels' negative content was directed towards black women.
See what I mean? This goes so deep for black women.
Well, it might be because he's black, or maybe he just doesn't like black women.
You all think you're the exception to the rule, but your life is proven to you that you're not.
So, well, it's just interesting that
this guy's fucking hounding my lane.
Pearl was so inspired by Kevin Samuels' content. In particular, out of all the different types of manosphere content, Pearl zeroed in on Kevin Samuels.
Well, I will say, like, manosphere seems to be disproportionately black. Okay, and I'm not saying black people are not bad or worse or anything like that, but there does seem to be a little bit too much of like a little higher acceptability of sexism in some black communities. And again, I think it's the same thing with there seems to be the same thing when it comes to homophobia, and I think it's because like it's a lot of religious communities. Like there's a lot of religious communities, especially in like poor areas, people tend to gravitate towards religion. I'm not saying religion is bad. I'm just saying from what I've seen, especially at the top, like who are the top people? Kevin Samuels, Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit. Right. So
and became inspired by his content, and his most popular content often heavily critiqued black women for their appearances. Let's sit on that for a moment. Again, something I think is important to point out as it'll come into play later on in this video. Not that it's not just important to point out in general, but regardless, it seems that Pearl saw something was missing in the manosphere influencer world. It seems she was looking
a white woman
around and noticed, there's only men in the manosphere world. I wonder why that is. Maybe I could be a woman manosphere influencer. Makes sense, right? Whatever Pearl's reasoning was and logic was, Pearl capitalized on a scarce market and was able to become the known or the only woman influencer within the manosphere space. She would listen to common manosphere talking points and then regurgitate them on her own platform.
Your husband isn't supposed to ask your permission. Your husband can do whatever he wants with the money.
That's just dumb as shit. Your husband can do whatever he wants is the dumbest thing in the entire fucking world. That's why Pearl's never married, brother.
True submission is giving him complete control.
Though Pearl
Submissive women are worthless. I guess, and here's the thing. Like I said, like, how are you fasting me? Like I said, like it's as a man, men want to generally make the decisions in a relationship. I'm a man. I want to make the decisions. But like, that's why you need a good woman who will push back and will be like, I don't like that decision when you make a decision. Right? Like, I think men tend to gravitate towards the role of wanting to make decisions. Women tend to gravitate towards the role of like wanting somebody to make decisions for them. Not always, you know, your relationship's up to you. But like, you need a woman that's going to say, no, I don't want this. Or else you're just steamrolling something. At that point, you're trying to date a fucking child, mentally, at least. That just lets you do whatever they want or whatever you want. Like, that's not a healthy dynamic. Like, that's not good. That's weak. You need somebody that'll give you fucking pushback.
Pearl often seemed sort of stiff and uncomfortable and not as confident with the talking points compared to other known influencers within the manosphere realm.
Oh, actually, I think we should ban divorce too. Yeah, I think that should be banned. Yes.
Okay, well, that's a little bit silly. You have to acknowledge that, right?
No.
Pearl would try talking about different manosphere talking points with her family members who were not involved in the manosphere. She would also try and talk about it with different friends and do street interviews, which were popular at the time.
I think typically
street interviews are so stupid because most of the time what a street interview is like, hey, I want a specific answer to a question. I'm going to go ask 100 people the same question. Then 3 of them will give me that answer I want. Then I'm going to make it seem like all of them gave me that answer. So
invest more into building a relationship with the man or the woman.
The woman, of course. I mean, I grew up
invest more into Bitcoin, brother.
with this all the time. It's about like the guy doesn't treat me well. He's not nice enough. He's not holding the door for me. And I've also been that guy who's done all of that. And you are overlooked, overshadowed easily. But
because you're a pussy. Listen, not to be an asshole, but there's a difference between being the nice guy out of necessity versus being the nice guy because you want to be a nice guy. Like, the reality is that there are people that act like a nice guy because they can't be an asshole because they're usually not perceived as super valuable. So, you know, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but when you don't have a good job, when you aren't particularly smooth or intelligent or interesting or educated or anything, obviously you're going to be the nice guy, quote unquote, because that's all you can be. You have no other dating strategy other than to act like a nice guy. Women can tell when you're just a fucking beta that's just acting nice because you want pussy versus being a guy who actually wants to act nice because it's the right thing to do. And so that's why women gravitate towards bad guys or bad boys because they are more typically perceived as having like more value. They have more going on for themselves. And that's why like I'm a good guy. I'm a nice guy. I'm a cool guy. No, dude, you have to be that guy. That doesn't show any type of restraint or any type of value. You know, you got to try to be a Chad that's also a nice guy. That's what you want to be. You got to have something going for you.
the guy who treats you like and is an absolute douchebag.
But it seems like most of Pearl's family and friends just did not care about the manosphere as much as Pearl did.
I guess I don't think it's that important. Like, I frankly...
But it is, though. That is the most important thing to
Isn't that her sister? Why are you going to have your sister talk to fucking Sneeko?
have. Growing up is to have two parents. It's to have a masculine and feminine influence.
I don't know. I just don't think it is.
Pearl was completely consumed by the manosphere echo chamber and didn't realize that no one else around her didn't seem to care as much or was as concerned about feminism destroying the planet as much as she was. It could be said that Pearl had become actively sucked into an echo chamber, a closed ecosystem where those involved reinforce one another's beliefs, circulating existing views without any opposing views, which can result in confirmation bias, where one is only finding information that supports or confirms their pre-existing beliefs. Echo chambers can increase social and political polarization and
But what if I'm always right and I just want my friends to agree with me?
Extremism. And Pearl's beliefs became more and more extreme as she closed herself off to any outside beliefs, became more and more isolated, with her family no longer understanding her beliefs. In the
It's so funny when your core beliefs ostracize you and your family. How funny is that? That's I just jumped. Oh,
process
jumped at that.
of becoming this new version of herself.
I actually have better family values and ties now ever since well, it's not because of my contest, because of my wife, but like I'm also an honest person. I'm not like fucking virtue signaling and trying to just like some community for attention. So, you know, like a part of my content is actually trying to be a decent husband and like a decent man, you know, and also brain rot. But I don't talk about the brain rot. Okay? I don't talk about being a man either in real life. I just fucking act like a man. You know?
Pearl has lost lifelong friends. Pearl's ex-best friend Emily has been the most vocal online after Pearl publicly lied.
Yeah, because Pearl like lied about her.
About Emily being too overweight to get pregnant.
Once I had a friend who I told my husband and I were gonna be trying to have kids in 2023, and then she turned out to be like really crazy, so I stopped being friends with her. And then a year after that, she told people that I was having fertility issues because of my weight to prove her like toxic agenda or whatever she does.
This isn't just a woman thing. When people lie,
Yeah, I think she just didn't want to have kids at that point.
they'll make an assumption. They'll have a little piece of information and then make a roundabout assumption.
My face went on Pearl.
Emily's made a few TikToks about the situation and has claimed that her and Pearl were very close, but that once Emily noticed the drastic shift in Pearl's attitude towards women, she parted ways with her friendship with Pearl for the sake of her own mental health.
We lived together for an entire summer. Look at that little Hannah banana. We would go camp in the middle of nowhere, and like look how kind she was
Yeah, look at how happy she looks. Now she just looks fucking miserable. Damn.
before.
Emily also called Pearl's online behavior disgusting, and Emily personally believes that Pearl doesn't truly believe what she's saying online and is doing it as a grift.
Probably not, but I feel like you're better off with the person who honestly believes something shitty than the person who's pretending to. I don't know, I just feel like at least you're getting honesty out of somebody. Like she really is such a scummy person.
Or is over-exaggerating her beliefs for the sake of monetary gain.
But no, she was not always like this. She was completely normal. The stuff that she says now is shocking to me because it wasn't just like a progressive getting worse. It was like all of a sudden she's like, I'm gonna do red pill content. To the extreme.
Either way, both.
Yeah, I remember when she used to talk about how like a little bit like red pill content was silly. But oh my god, get away from me.
Emily, and from what it seems through Emily's claims, the circle of friends that Pearl was involved with have completely disassociated themselves from Pearl. So her online content has had major consequences in her real life. So how did Pearl get here? Well, let's rewind a moment.
She wanted to make that money, baby.
Now that we know Pearl's trajectory into the manosphere and the complicated and toxic world of the manosphere that she found herself in, let's look back on where Pearl started, understand how possibly she could have ended up on this path.
Pearl's mom was mean to her. That's really what it boils down to. And she doesn't respect herself, so she doesn't respect other people.
As I stated earlier, Pearl was considered an average American person, with a fairly wealthy family, and a bright future paved for her. But
that her mom?
Things are not always as they seem, and sometimes people who have everything still crave more. Anna Pearl Davis was born in Chicago, Illinois on November 6th, 1996.
That's a very masculine quality, by the way, to want more after you have enough. You know what I mean? Pearl, you're a man.
Raised in a pretty large 10-bedroom home with her...
A pretty 10 bedrooms? What the fuck? I was raised in like a very small house. Not like very small. It's so interesting because people talk about how houses are so expensive now, and they are, and it's difficult to have like a house, but part of the cost comes from the fact that fucking houses are like twice as big as they used to be. But like my house was pretty small. Like it's so interesting, and people have like these. The house I live in with my wife is not very big, but it's bigger than like twice as big as my old house. It's like fucking crazy. Like you walked in, there was like a small den, then there's like a little like living room area with a TV with like a small couch, small like this like basically smaller than that behind me. My mom's room's like right next to that. Then there's like a little kitchen, and then my room, and then the bathroom. That's the whole thing. It's so small. You know, it's so interesting. She has a fucking 10-bedroom house. Our house was like 2 bedrooms, but not really. You know, it's fucking crazy.
9 siblings and parents. That's right, 9 siblings. And Pearl's...
And I'm not saying we were poor or anything. I'm just saying like we lived, you know, my mom taught me to live within my, like below my means. You know, so even now we live below our means on purpose because like, you know.
Parents' names are Dan and Jennifer Davis.
Tell him, Mom. Well, welcome to the Davis 20 Acre.
Damn, I can't believe...
These walls, we raised a lot of kids, and a lot of our friends' kids, I think, have spent as much time as our own kids here. So come on in, and I'll figure out what we have. Okay, so this is the...
Oh my god, that room is bigger than the house I grew up in, just to be clear.
Lobby. We have 11
what the
different
fuck?
11 different types of
that's fucking huge!
House, and the house finished space, I think, is about 11,000 square feet. Ceilings are 9 feet, 11 inches.
1,000 square feet? That's fucking crazy, dude. That's like the average home was 1,100 square feet back in the day. Are you fucking kidding me?
As some of you probably know, being raised in a really large family can have some positives and some negatives, especially depending on the individual family. And depending on the child, some children can really enjoy larger families and other children will not enjoy the experience as much.
Well, it depends on if the parents are giving you enough attention. You know, one of the bigger problems of a big family is obviously getting neglected potentially, but it's also the expectation of having to raise your siblings, which isn't necessarily the worst always, but sometimes it can get way too far. I mean, if you look at a super exaggerated case like the Duggar family, I think that's one of the reasons why that kid ended up molesting his sisters and became a disgusting pedophile. because he was basically the dad to those kids, and he as a young kid was put in a role that was way too much power for them to have before they learned proper boundaries. I'm not going to get into the specifics. That's a whole conversation to have. There's no excuse for him now, but I'm just saying, you know, and so that can be a little bit difficult and toxic for a young person to have to like be like the legitimate parental figure of somebody. Oh, that's not good. Fuck.
As we've seen in tropes like Home Alone, in larger families, parents may struggle to give each child individualized attention and may be a little bit more forgetful for the individual children, just due to the sheer number of siblings. Fighting for a large family can also put a significant financial strain on the parents.
Well, sure, I don't think that they have that aspect. But back in the day, you had to have a lot of kids because, you know, most like half your kids were going to die anyway. So you're like, yeah, let's have like 10. Because fucking 7 of them are going to be dead, so at least we'll have 3, hopefully, at the end of it.
Sometimes there can be limited resources because of how many children have to share resources within a household, which can create a more competitive feeling between each child in the house. But also, again, this depends on the household. Pearl was also raised as a Roman Catholic, where she may have learned some of her traditional...
I was raised Roman Catholic. Oh my God, Pearl, we're fucking made for each other, girl.
Ideologies.
I'm just not black, sorry.
Gender roles from the Roman Catholic Church.
I think religion's great. Like, I believe in God, I pray, you know, but there was just something weird about it. I seriously, I couldn't figure out what. But I remember sitting in Catholic school and they would have these chastity speakers come in. And it would always be the same thing, like the guy with the ran-through chick.
Historically, clergy leadership roles within the Catholic Church are reserved for men, though there have been discussions and movements advocating for greater inclusion of women in leadership positions. While women have been excluded from ordained priesthood, they do have significant roles as nuns, sisters, and often engage in other forms of ministry, education, healthcare, and other social work within the church. That being said, traditionally, the Catholic Church has placed an emphasis on traditional gender roles. Pearl attended...
Well, yeah, no shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude about that, but yeah, that's why they tend to be sexist.
In Central Catholic High School, a private Roman Catholic high school in Woodstock, Illinois. In 2024, tuition rates per student range from $8,900 to $12,000 for one student, $15,600 to $24,000 for 2 students, and $20,000 to $36,000 for 3 students.
Man,
that means
must have been making that money, baby.
That Pearl's parents, Dan and Jennifer, were likely paying upwards of $36,000 a year to send just 3 of their 9 children to this.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm pretty sure they own like a business that they say that the mom owns or something, so they can get tax breaks. Oh,
Catholic high
guys,
school.
Why aren't you
Multiply
helping me?
that by 3 for their 9 children for however many years. It's a lot of money put into this private education for their
We have 3 down. Why aren't we pushing?
9 children. But Pearl had a seemingly prosperous childhood where money was never an issue.
She grew up highly privileged. There's pictures of like the house she grew up in. It's like this huge ass mansion.
Both of Pearl's parents were very, very successful with big careers of their own. Yes, that's right. Pearl's mother had a career of her own. She was not staying home being a traditional submissive woman. The blasphemy. Both of Pearl's parents are founders of Davisware, a business management software company. The company website reads, "Today, our team is spread across the globe."
Wait, what the fuck do they do? Davisware? It sounds like dad khakis, you know?
With more than 150 employees in 3 different countries. In an even more shocking turn of events, his mother, Jennifer, served as the CEO of Davisware from 2019 to 2021 before she started her own business, Be Exponential LLC, which is, in an even more shocking
Would she sell makeup?
turn of events, a coaching program that provides a supportive environment for women to share their experiences, struggles, and triumphs while emphasizing the importance of self-care, mental and physical health, and personal fulfillment.
Hey mom, how did you balance work and family like as an adult, and like what strategies would you say work best for you?
I have a nanny.
So I think that the biggest thing that everyone needs to keep in mind is that you don't have a work life and a home life. You only have one life.
I like how Pearl is used to try to make content, apparently, according to this, out of what her mom and dad do. Like, oh, I think she has nothing for herself. Everything is like, oh, maybe I could be an influencer. What should I do? Oh, you know, what if I talk to my successful mom and dad and see what they do? And then maybe people will follow me for that, you know? So she's really super riding their coattails there.
50-50 because balance means there's sway and things don't exactly
Balance means there's sway and swag.
they happen the same everything. So I think those
Secretly, we are gay. Not so secretly.
2 mindset changes are really important.
But the problem is women want all the responsibility. We want to be in these hard jobs. We want to do all this stuff. And we want all of the freedom too, and the privilege. But we can't.
What the hell does that mean?
You can't have it both ways.
As you can tell,
I don't even know what that sentence means.
Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree? Just kidding. How did the messaging become so lost along the way? Our community at Be Exponential is a network of ambitious women who are carving out their paths in their careers and personal lives, striving to live a fulfilling and well-balanced life. Be Exponential is marketed as being built by women for women. Now, I don't know
Ew, dirty feminism is what it sounds like to me.
how great this course is, but it's still miles and worlds away from what Pearl is preaching on her platforms, which is mind-blowing. In 2021, Jennifer Davis was also a best-selling author for her book Living Exponentially, Unlocking the Power of Every Moment in
What the fuck? I didn't know her mom was this successful. It's actually crazy to me.
your business and life. She was also the treasurer for United Nations for Women USA. According to their website, UN Women
What the fuck? Wait, why is her mom so fucking successful?
is the global nations entity dedicated to gender equality and the empowerment of women. A global champion for women and girls, UN Women was established to accelerate progress on meeting their needs worldwide. So Jennifer Davis
Shit, I'll meet Pearl's mom's needs. You know what I'm saying, dude?
represented a powerful
Is that Chad? Is that sexist?
and fierce women in business, advocating for women who also take care of their mental health, as well as in general becoming an advocate for women and equality worldwide. On Pearl's platform, she consistently downplays her mother's role in her parents' businesses. Not only did Jennifer Davis work in and excel in a male-dominated field, as men account for almost 92% of software engineers, but she also successfully helped build.
I mean, it's possible that she just has her name on there just for the sake of her, for the sake of like some kind of insurance thing. But it's also possible that she hates her mom, and so she lies about it. I don't know.
The company from the ground up. And on top of that, she raised and provided for 10 children. I mean, that sounds
10 children. I don't know, dude. She's probably. Maybe that's why she's such a. I don't know, man. She's probably not the greatest mom. Let's be real. I mean, 10 fucking kids? No way.
all impossible, could never be me.
That's just crazy.
Don't know how anyone could do that and survive. But all Pearl has done, instead of give her mother credit, is consistently try and diminish her mother's accomplishments at Davisware. Pearl claimed that her father, Dan, was the true CEO of Davisware when she was confronted.
I mean, that might be true.
With the fact that her mother was a leader in business by the H3 podcast. In a tweet, she said, H3 is so stupid. They didn't realize my mom was the president of their company, but my dad was the CEO. That's not what Jennifer's LinkedIn says. My mom left her job as a teacher to work at the business my dad started. It was a family business. No matter what Jennifer Davis's job was before Davisware began, it doesn't diminish her role in helping the business succeed from the ground up. If the company wanted to give her a meaningless role, they could have just made her a board member and have been done with it. On top of that,
well, no, I think that the idea was that they gave her that president role or whatever so that they could say that say it for tax purposes. Like that was the claim. Again, Pearl might just hate her mom and try to downplay every one of her potential achievements. I'm just saying, you know, it could be a ploy. Thank you so much for the $5 or £5 from Joe Hanks. Hi, Papa. Appreciate your commentary on social issues like these. You're a better role model for men like myself. Keep up the great work, Papa. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that, dude. It makes me feel it makes me feel like a handsome fella. Here, I'll do this. My wife likes it when I do this, just for you, bro. I don't know. Listen. This is a real thing. I don't understand why women like men in backwards hats. I really don't understand it. I never even used to like wearing hats, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm bald. You'd think I would like love it, but I started wearing hats because my wife and I started going on vacations, and I would get horrible sunburn, so I would have started wearing a hat, and then it became comfortable. So I like wearing regular hats, but one time I put my hat on backwards, and she started fucking like, you know, she started turning into a dog, like an animal. I was like, what the hell's the matter with you? She was like in heat. And then now she's sending me all these memes on TikTok where apparently this is like a normal thing where for some reason girls like guys in a backwards hat. They think it's sexy. Is that like a normal thing? It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me feel objectified. Stop looking down there. Stop looking at my package. It's all balls. Okay? Leave me alone.
Trying to downplay her own mother's accomplishments, Pearl would have accidentally claimed that her parents were committing fraud. That's right, Pearl would have rather claimed that her parents were committing fraud than give her mother any credit for the career and the work that she did. Pearl claimed on the H3 podcast that her parents only gave her mother a high position in the company just so that they could get a grant from the government.
You know, I grew up in a family business too, so my dad hired people all the time, like he had over 200 employees.
Wasn't your mom the president? Was she the leader of the company?
What was are you researching?
Oh, it's bad boy coded.
My family now, huh?
Oh, that's all public.
No, my mom, I mean,
Researching my family now, huh? Okay.
I don't know what they titled it. Like, I don't.
Your
think
mom was the president, I believe. But
yeah,
based on
I mean, they might have titled it one thing or another. My mom did more of the marketing, sales side. My dad did the engineering of the software.
Okay.
I think they wanted to get some grant, so I think like they might have had her, like they did that to get some.
What an idiot for even admitting this.
Grant from the government or something. I don't remember, but
so. Yeah, is that a crime?
Why would you say that?
Say that on here.
We can cut that out. Might not like that.
Why is she trying to undermine her mother's accomplishments? Discrediting her mom to make a point. That's wild. Truly, it's almost fascinating how a child can look at their parent and instead of becoming inspired by their accomplishments, become resentful for whatever reason. It makes you wonder what happened at home to create such a tragic tale of wrong messaging, clear mother issues, and child rebellion. On top of that, Pearl will consistently give credit and love towards her father for the life and the childhood that she's had, but never to her mother.
A lot of your mothers do not want to see you succeed. They
I mean, I was only raised by my mother, so she actually does want to see me succeed quite a bit, so.
want to see you just as miserable as them, so you can be her emotional tampon the rest of her life.
Sounds like you're projecting your mom onto us, bro. My mother was actually very supportive of me in general, even though I was a fuck up, so.
Because a lot of your mothers have failed again and again and again in relationships, and they do not want to see you succeed.
From what I gleaned online, Pearl often credits her father for lavish gifts and fun activities given to the family.
Number one, I'm sorry I'm not a brokey. My dad
What the fuck? Sorry, she looks English here.
dad yells at me for accounting every month, and I have to like organize like business expenses versus personal. So my dad does yell at me when I pull out cash when he can't see what you spend it on.
She also reminds me of Mr. Krabs' daughter because he wants her to be a star and he's paying her way to do so.
Being a little YouTuber is tough. I'm really tired of being broke, Dad. I can't mooch off of you forever.
In a Twitter post, Pearl claimed her father got her.
Damn, isn't that crazy? It sounds like she's been a YouTuber forever. Like she's never truly worked any other job but being a YouTuber. She wanted to do that so bad, and that's what it comes down to. She wanted to be a YouTuber, so she became a YouTuber. She found out a way to make it work. That's pretty much all it is. It's just that she's a poo-poo head, wiener nose. You know what I'm saying, guys? I feel like that's really all it boils down to. She's just a fucking asshole, so.
A road where she poses next to a street sign named Hannah Pearl Drive. In fact, around the time her TikTok first blew up, Pearl posted a video of her dad purchasing a giant water slide for the family.
Wow. Hey, now at least Pearl can finally get wet from something. Because guys don't want to fuck her, you know?
Her father does in her life, but never promotes anything that her mother does.
My mom and dad went to different colleges. My dad told my mom, you can either move to me or find a different boyfriend. And she
Wow, what a cool guy.
moved to him.
I don't think that ever happened.
Quit, and then she ended up getting a teaching degree. She quit her teaching job to work for my dad and helped him build a multi-million-dollar business. They had 10 kids.
Despite Jennifer being the CEO of a
What a badass. What a fucking alpha dog.
multi-million-dollar company, she stepped down in order to start Be Exponential so that she could dedicate her time to supporting women. In contrast, her daughter spends most of her time talking down to women.
Sounds like a fluff piece for the mom.
And saying really hateful things about women. Pearl has publicly preached that men are solely responsible for building society.
I got a lot of hate this week for a tweet that I said that said, men make society run and women don't.
She has tweeted,
It's so funny because like historically, and again, I think that men have more of a desire to influence society, and I feel like women have more of a desire to like nurture their family, right? Doesn't mean that that's always the way that it is, but that's what it seems like, you know, generally speaking. But it's so funny when she's like, oh, men are the ones that made the world move and the women don't do anything. Dude, women are the ones that are supporting men and like making men functional individuals. Like I'm telling you, like with being with a not good partner being with a bad partner makes you a bad man. There's no two ways about it. So it's just like, why take away all these accomplishments from women when it's like, you know, there's no man that's successful without there's no good man that's successful without a good woman. It's just a fact. Yeah, you suck, dude.
I genuinely think women are significantly less intelligent than men. There's a reason we are called the weaker vessel. Pearl believes that
That's because you're calling women the weaker vessel.
that women do more damage in the workforce because they're too emotional in contrast to men who are more logical.
Do you feel that sometimes you argue from emotion rather than like concrete facts?
I'm a woman, so sometimes, yeah.
Then why do you have a platform and why are you working? Just leave. She has tweeted,
That's true. If you really want to hold to your values, stop making content.
women working is definitely like the Special Olympics, which is offensive on
Okay, it's kind of funny.
both sides of the coin, and to be hateful towards the Special Olympics as well as women. Pearl has even suggested that since women make up the majority of the education system, that they are to blame for the current failures of the education system.
You know the crazy thing is, the industries that women run are the industries we complain about. So healthcare is mostly women. We're always complaining about how healthcare is not there to help you. Same
Our healthcare system is fucked by corporations. It's also, yeah. Whoa, shit.
with teachers, okay? Colleges, the institutions run by women, we all complain about. So one, the teachers are these single feminist women that don't have kids of their own, so they just try to indoctrinate yours. In the last
I don't think I've met a teacher who was not married.
100 years, women have really taken over education. And you know what happened when we took over education? Everyone got dumber. This was the worst part. This was the funniest part too.
I feel like women have always been the ones that were like teachers. This isn't like a new thing where women are now teachers all of a sudden. Women used to like always be teachers. I feel like if anything, men being teachers is somewhat of like a new concept.
Women cannot teach the way one man used to teach. That's how bad it is.
The reason
okay.
that she used to get there, the decline of the education system, that conclusion was reached without considering any outside factors and external reasons, like systemic problems, financial limitations in our education system, and other aspects that have contributed to the decline.
Too many hot teachers. When your teacher's too sexy, you can't pay attention to class. That's the problem. We need more ugly teachers, guys. That's the true issue.
Not considering any other factors is so obtuse it feels deliberately obtuse. Pearls also discussed removing women from the police force.
If a woman is actually as strong and as physically capable as a man, I have no problem with her being in the police force. But when we start lowering standards to allow women to be in industries that they do not deserve, that is when I have a problem.
Yeah, maybe ban women from the police force.
Ooh, based.
If women's jobs disappeared from tomorrow, society would probably be fine. If men's jobs disappeared tomorrow, it would be rough out there. Pearl
okay.
stated in a podcast.
I can't really think of one job where women
Didn't women have to like do men's jobs for a while when men went to war?
and dominated and that we need. Point is, if women stopped working tomorrow, I think we would have an increase in efficiency, not a decrease.
Again, Pearl's statement deliberately ignores important women-dominated industries in society. We're saying physiotherapy, dermatology. On top of that, there was the famous study done where women refused to work for a day, and within a few hours, the society almost collapsed. In October of 1975, 90% of the women in Iceland decided to go on strike. They refused to work, cook, and look after their children for a day. Banks, factories, and some shops had to close, as did schools and nurseries, leaving many fathers with no choice but to take their children to work. It completely changed the way that women...
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the same thing would happen if men did it. It's like so unproductive to just pit men versus women. It's so stupid.
Seen in the country and helped put Iceland at the forefront of the fight for equality, which could go to show that women's value in society is often under-acknowledged in the important roles that they play. Pearl's mother has a TikTok in which her other children help her make...
Her mommy has a TikTok? Mommy Davis?
...her content. And on her TikTok, she posted a somewhat cryptic comment that seemed to imply that she does not agree with the direction that Pearl has taken with her beliefs and content. I would honestly put your daughter in line for your sake because it sucks to see her incriminate and undermine you. Jennifer replies, she needs to learn her own way. I support her hard work. She will learn reality when she starts to live it.
Damn. Got it.
Meaning when you become a mom, when you become a wife, you'll learn you'll learn the harsh realities. You seem like such a good mom. I only wish she could realize it. She will. She was raised right. Everyone has to find their own way. Also,
I mean, there's a level of truth there. You know, we all got to kind of find it. Sometimes you got to make like Jordan Peterson says, okay, the greatest man ever. Never crazy or wrong. You got to let your kids make dangerous decisions or do dangerous things safely. You know what I mean? And I guess this is somewhat of a dangerous thing safely. She's going to be a social pariah, but hey, fuck it, right?
So vehemently claims that women should not enter the workforce.
And the problem is we've told women that we can just have it all. Yes, queen, have it all. You can have the career and still be treated like a traditional woman.
What?
Which is completely opposite to the life that her mother lived.
Now, again, usually we used to get this information from our mothers and grandmothers, but unfortunately our mothers and grandmothers have all led us astray.
But according to the University College London, researchers surveyed 19,000 British households to see how working mothers affected their children's development. And in this study, we did not see any evidence for a longer-term detrimental influence on child behavior of mothers working during their child's first year of life. A lot of...
Well, okay. What does that mean, the first year of life? Like, women should be able to work. It's fine. Who cares? Just take care of your kids.
Parents and mothers who have to work feel a lot of guilt and shame around that because of external pressures and influences telling them it's so much better if they stay home. And I know a lot of stay-at-home parents feel a lot of shame and insecurity over not having a career, through others making them feel like they're less important or less valuable in society.
I'm just going to end because it's been an hour in this game and our team's not doing anything.
When the work that they do at home is valuable labor and just as important and essential. I think ultimately every family is different. And ultimately it is my personal opinion that there is no one fit solution for every family. There just can't possibly be. And when you see these influencers telling you that every family needs to live by this set of rules, it tells me either A, they've lived an extremely privileged life, or B, they don't know what they're talking about because they've never had to build a family from the ground up. Ultimately, you have to do what makes the most sense for your family, but also, and most importantly, what makes you the most mentally and emotionally happy. Because ultimately, your mental health matters and is an essential...
And sometimes you just got to make that money, baby, you know?
...component of the health of your family. An expert wrote in the Harvard Business Review that when mothers took care of themselves, setting aside time for self-care and relaxation, their children were better adjusted. It's interesting that Pearl's own mother, Jennifer, preaches this and claims to have lived by this, and yet Pearl has come to such an opposite conclusion. There's a possibility that Pearl's mother working full-time, in addition to her raising 10 children, might have been too much for Pearl, who felt emotionally neglected.
Probably. And I also think that from what I've seen, that she's made fun of Pearl for being overweight, so she's probably not the best mom. Like, having that many kids... That's why like some of this video is a little weird because it seems like a fluff piece for the mom, who I don't know if she's necessarily the best mom in the world, you know? Kind of comes off as such, but she most likely was neglectful to her kids. It's unfortunate stuff, you know, but...
And unable to work out her own internalized misogyny, Pearl blamed her mother. Maybe Pearl's own content that she makes now and her discontent towards women.
Frick you, mommy. You were bad to me, mommy.
Goes deeper than just wanting traditional gender roles in society. Maybe the manosphere unlocked years of childhood emotional trauma and neglect. And now Pearl spends her time advocating for the traditional woman.
You're always bored as a stay-at-home mom? Shit, I feel that.
The non-working woman, the woman that's going to stay home and raise their children because that's what Pearl feels she never had. Though, of course, that's all just pure speculation. Because of Pearl's parents' success, Pearl Davis herself experienced a very lavish childhood, living in luxury, having a nice home.
Yeah, she got too many things handed to her. You got to struggle more than that, you know? You got to struggle more than that, Pearl. You didn't develop any character, and you need character, girl. Because you don't exactly look like somebody that doesn't need character. You know what I'm saying, dude? If you're ugly like myself, you need character. You know, if you're ugly as shit like me, you need to have a good character on you.
Because both of her parents had high-paying jobs. During Pearl's time at Marion Central Catholic High School, Pearl stood at 6'1" and played on the school's volleyball team.
That bitch is tall as hell. What the fuck?
Something very sad that was discussed from Pearl's past was when Pearl talked about on a podcast how she was groomed by a coach of hers.
I remember saying, like, you can tell me stuff you don't tell your parents.
Yeah, I remember this. This is so terrible.
He told me before I went to college, like, that I was going to get a bunch of attention from boys because of my butt. So he goes, you know, like...
Wow. A groomer and a liar. Jesus Christ. That's disgusting.
You know, because my first time saying that. The gym's empty right now. We could do anything you want. I'm like, what do you mean, Marcus? He texted me. So he said, come back to the gym tonight. And I said, for what? And then he said, like, nothing, just...
But luckily, Pearl was able to get this coach fired eventually, though she...
Yeah, but then when she told this to like people in the manosphere that like her coach that coached her since she was underage started hitting on her, I think like the second she turned 18 or even before that, they were like, oh, it's your fault. You were attempting to him, shit like that. It's like, dude, this is the sphere of people that you want to align yourself with. People who like, that's disgusting.
Claims her mother actually told her not to do anything about it initially.
The issue I had was he was waiting until girls turned 18 to try to hook up with him. I didn't get him fired until years later because my mom told me not to.
What's so surprising about this particular story that Pearl speaks about is not only that
maybe the mom was also playing the same sport. You never know.
Pearl is surprised that the manosphere blames her for the incident initially.
Yep.
It's weird. They blame you. Like, they put you, the 17, 18-year-old. Why did you put yourself in that situation? Or you liked the attention, da-da-da-da.
Because also...
Yep, because they're disgusting. But this is the fucking sphere that you want to exist in. It's pathetic.
Pearl has told other women that if they don't come forward with charges, their stories shouldn't be believed.
And it's always the same thing. It's like 10 years later, these chicks that had consensual relationships convinced themselves that they were assaulted. If you don't...
Oh, I didn't even think about that. So she was groomed by her coach, and then she came forward a few years later, because you know there were different stressors. Her mom told her not to do it, or her parents told her not to do it. And she probably had a lot of conflicting feelings, and now she's saying that people shouldn't come forward years later after they have a problem. I will say, go to the police as soon as you can to try to report a problem, but sometimes things just don't work out perfectly.
Don't report it within 6 months. Where is the confusion? How do you not know if you were assaulted?
When she herself has experienced something and held on to that experience for a long enough time before coming forward with that story. She enrolled at Ohio Northern University, where she made
Ohio Sigma.
That
was fucking insane what we just did, guys. That was insane that we just did that.
Entrepreneurial studies. Seemingly following in her parents' footsteps, Pearl also competed on the school's Division III volleyball team. Pearl then transferred to Elmhurst University, where she also competed on their Division III volleyball team. And throughout her high school and college years, she juggled volleyball and basketball. After graduating college in 2017, Pearl interned for Senator Tom Cullerton's district office.
That's how to be racist, right? Cullerton, right? You know what I'm saying?
She also interned for a plumbing company where she was promoted to director of business development. During
Wow, her dad got her a lot of jobs.
2019, while working for a company
That's fucked up. Was her coach really black? Oh my God.
that manages business and industrial imaging products, Pearl was planning on joining a program that would allow her to move to Europe and play basketball while completing a master's degree. But the plan fell through. Because of that, she started to explore the idea of becoming a TikTok influencer.
I'm trying to see if I can find a picture of the guy.
Pearl created a TikTok account in May of 2020, amassing around 100,000 followers in 5 months on the platform. Most of her popular content was something she would do on TikTok called the breakup quiz, where she would write out questions that people could send to their ex-partners, fill out, in which Pearl would post publicly.
I just made this account specifically for quizzes. So
Oh my God. She's such a youngin' there.
you don't follow me already, hit that follow button. Why do you think we broke up? Because I didn't have a phone. Did you have feelings for someone else when we broke up?
What up, Brion?
No. Were you trying to talk to someone else when we broke up? No.
Pearl claimed in an interview that she would refrain from posting some of these breakup quizzes if they were too controversial, which definitely is a drastic contrast from the Just Pearly Things content that she posts today, which almost
What the hell? Bro, why'd you have values back then? What's wrong with you?
tries to be as controversial as possible. This article also notes that Pearl never sends this breakup quiz to anyone in her own past because Pearl never had a
Shit, because she never had a boyfriend. That's funny. Yeah, probably.
boyfriend serious enough for her to send it to. The only long-term relationship I can think of is a guy I talked to for a couple of years in college. I do not think he would take it. It's
You talked to for a couple of, would he fuck you every once in a while when he couldn't find someone else?
interesting that Pearl herself has never been in a serious committed relationship since she's now
Well, she was with the Angry Reactions guy when he was homeless and had no other options, so.
almost 30, even though she advocates for women to get married as young as possible and that women lose their value as they get older.
What do men value? Third thing men value, youth. How are they getting youth when the average age of first marriage for women in the U.S. is 28.6 years old?
It seems.
Bro, listen, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, do men really, I feel like young men value youth because they're young men and they want a girl their age, but I feel like if you're an old, I don't know, dude. Like, if I was 40 years old, maybe I'd go through a midlife crisis and I'd want to fuck a young girl again. Like, obviously a legal girl, because I would be, like, missing that. Like, oh, man, I remember when I used to. But I feel like it's, you know, what do you have in common? I don't know. It's bizarre shit. The fuck?
Seems that the only relationship that Pearl has ever had is the time that she briefly dated TikToker Wanye Johnson, known online as Angry Reactions, though their relationship was very brief.
I'm on a date with my favorite ex who told all her friends and family members she'll never see me again.
Damn.
Smile for the camera. What did you say? Smile for the camera. Just smile. They gonna know.
Wait, what?
And Pearl's ex-best friend Emily claims that despite her brief relationship, Pearl has never really been in a serious relationship.
She's never been even in a relationship.
Although Pearl likes the concept of marriage and wants to have a family one day, that does not make her a reliable source for information whatsoever, nor does that make her an expert. Maybe she would be more of a trustworthy source on marriage if she, I don't know, had one.
Did you know that she's
Yeah, true. I mean, that's the thing. It's so interesting that there's so many people in the manosphere that are unmarried. They're not actually like in any type of a long-term relationship, talking about what it takes to be in a long-term relationship. Like, how the fuck do you know?
never been in an actual relationship or has lived with a man, and she gives marriage advice?
But the one thing I've learned from being a married person is that even other married people have no idea what they're talking about.
Dude, I know exactly what I'm talking. I'm the best in the entire fucking world, dude.
And marriage is a very complicated thing, and every individual person is very different, and what works for one partnership doesn't work for the other. And so truly, the only people I trust are people who have studied this extensively and are literal experts in the area.
I don't think you need a literal expert to sit there and like do that. You know what I mean? Like, if you got a decent marriage, I could see people having, you know what I mean? Like, I take advice from somebody that's married. You know? You know what I'm saying?
Not just because they read things online and are fascinated in the topic, but
It's so funny though, because it's like that. It's, you know, that meme where it's like the guy who's not in a relationship is always given the most relationship advice. That's like Pearl, you know.
Pearl, therapists themselves are bad and you shouldn't take their advice because most of them are older single women. Pearl questioned how she could take advice from them if they can't maintain a relationship themselves.
I think that Pearl just doesn't like women, so she's never going to take advice from a woman, you know.
I noticed a lot of therapists are like older single women, and I'm kind of like, if you can't maintain a relationship, why would I take advice from you? This is just something
Yeah, he's got hard gank, boy.
I've noticed. The reason I decided to go to therapy is because in the next
Well, why do you need to go to, like, unless you're going to a therapist with the explicit goal of finding a partner? Why does it matter if they're not married to anybody?
5 to 7 years, ideally, you know, something to
Also, the most damaged people tend to be the best therapists. So not having a husband probably makes you a better therapist.
So I'd make her 33 when she's getting married. That's pretty old.
So you mean you? So you're talking about you then, right? Okay for me, but not for thee. In order to consume Pearl's content on any level, you have to suspend disbelief for a period of time and ignore who she is as a person completely to listen to anything she says, because what she says is so contradictory to her actions themselves. But those who would stumble on Pearl's TikTok videos in the algorithm wouldn't know her background, so some of what she was saying they would buy. And Pearl realized that the further and further she engaged.
Well, she just likes to say edgy shit so that kids will watch her content. Like, she's just looking for attention. That's why she has like fucking 2 million followers. If you look at her thing, and she gets like 10,000 views a video, right? It's like she has all these, and these followers are like so incredibly empty followers.
With manosphere content, sort of outraged people, the more engagement her content would receive. Pearl's TikTok account would get banned many, many times over the course of her posting controversial content, but this didn't deter her from going down the rabbit hole into further and further extreme statements.
The point of this is we have lived in such delusion that we have a 35-year-old corporate lawyer who probably will not reproduce, feeling like she deserves Leonardo DiCaprio because we have been told since childhood that we are equal to men, and we are not.
According to
What?
Pearl's ex-best friend Emily.
Well, I think that there's a lot of men that have hangups with making less money than their partner. Like, you know, so that's part of it. I think that women also do. Women also do want a guy that'll like typically make more than them. But I also think part of it is that, you know, there are some guys who there are some people who may not necessarily work hard enough to, you know, prove themselves in general. But yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know, just whatever.
An ex-boyfriend, Wanye, Pearl's behavior and perspective on modern society seemingly changed overnight when she decided to become a Manosphere content creator.
She doesn't believe anything she talks about.
When she decided to become.
And I've come to the conclusion that all she has to do is study this red pill theory and then perform for her audience. But no, she was not always like this. She was completely normal. The stuff that she says now is shocking to me because it wasn't just like a progressive getting worse. It was like all of a sudden she's like, I'm gonna do red pill content to the extreme.
Many people also believe that Pearl's drastic turn into the Manosphere content was due to her breakup, as after Pearl's breakup with internet personality Angry Reactions, she immediately went live and told her audience that he broke up with her because her body count was too high.
Wanye, Angry Reacts. You guys, how
Is
does
that
no
true?
one on this app remember this? Pearl entered her villain era when her
Oh, fuck.
and Wanye broke up for good. And she went on her live and told everyone he dumped her because her body count was too high.
I mean, that might be true. He seems like kind of an asshole. So,
though a lot of people have claimed that Pearl did this live stream stating that Wanye was uncomfortable with her body count and that's why there was an eventual breakup that led to Pearl's villain era, I have not seen any proof of this live stream's existence from what I've scoured on the internet. Also, around the time of the breakup, Pearl tweeted that she discovered that Wanye had children, that she decided to break up with him for that reason.
damn, Pearl. Wait, you don't want to be, I thought, what happened? I thought that only single mothers were shit and single fathers were okay.
They were then in an on-again, off-again relationship for several months before Angry Reactions dumped JustPearlyThings for good, which many people feel started Pearl's villain era.
Y'all treated me a certain type of way because of what my ex-girlfriend is out here saying. I made that video saying that I am not a part of anything she got going on.
Oh, that's me. That's Father Gut.
Y'all treated me like I'm going around saying this.
Wow.
Stuff.
While mentioning Wanye or Angry Reactions, I do think it's important to talk about how recently Wanye's most recent ex has come forward with allegations of DV.
I did not want to have to do this, but since Wanye wants to go on live and spread a bunch of lies, I have proof of him putting his hands on me multiple times.
Now, first off, I want to wish the best for her. I also just think it's very interesting that Pearl often blames...
Yeah, that's a very complicated situation. I know people are saying, no, it's not true. It's not true. It's a very... Oh my God, I'm going to fucking die. I'm fucking shit. I'm getting angry reactions right now. That whole situation with Angry Reactions is like really bizarre and complicated. And frankly, it's suspicious his behavior after what happened. Like if you followed the Angry Reactions things from the start, you'd see that what happened originally was that the cops were called on him and a girl. I think it was his girlfriend at the time. That's my understanding. In an apartment. They were so loud and crazy that somebody else had to call the cops. The cops showed up. She seemed to have some kind of like bruising and marking on her, but she didn't want to go to the hospital. The police took him in. She was on his side the whole time, which is not uncommon for somebody who's getting abused by a partner. Whatever. The charges got dropped, but then he still decided that he needed to delete all of his TikToks. And yeah, he just decided he needed to delete all of his TikToks. And say, oh, this is terrible. Everything's fucking terrible, blah, blah, blah. And like go on like a fucking tirade about it. You know, it's very suspicious to me. So...
women for their poor partner choices if their partner treats them wrong in a relationship. But the man that she chose, she ended up discovering had 2 children, which she didn't like, and now has some pretty bad accusations against him.
Who is Pearl picking, considering that anytime a guy does something wrong, no matter what it is, she tells women to simply just pick better?
Okay, so then you pick guys that cheat.
I discovered that last year Pearl tweeted about a breakup she had, so I decided to go ahead and check the archives. And it turns out that Pearl actually got catfished by an obese man with 2 children on TikTok.
That's funny.
Difficult to discuss Pearl's content without seeing how deeply intertwined it is with her own self-image.
Reactors provide a video archive for essayists. Yeah, true. That's the only time I'm in the video? Shit, I thought I'd be more prominent, dude.
Pearl's entire internet persona.
Whoa! Come on, I know you're picking these less than savory looking pictures of her on purpose.
Can be described as what many people have defined as a pick-me, expression used to describe a person, typically a woman, who seeks validation and attention from others.
Well, I mean, I guess pick-me men are just male feminists, right? Men who, I don't know. Like I always say, I don't think there's any such thing as a real male feminist. There's men who are advocators for women, but a male feminist man, I don't know. I just don't think that's a real thing. It feels like every time that they do that, they're just trying to get some kind of attention. Oh, I'm gonna fuck you. I'm a nice guy. I'm gonna fuck you.
Typically men, by emphasizing how different or better they are from other members of their gender. Pick-me's are often perceived as seeking favor or attention from men by trying to distance themselves from perceived negative stereotypes of women. And researchers have found that those with low self-esteem are likely to engage in self-deprecating behavior and seek approval from others.
Damn, she's just calling you fucking... Bro, Pearl, you gonna take this? You gotta respond, Pearl. Respond on your massive platform. It gets lots of proportionate views.
What's your value as a woman, would you say, like on a scale of 1 to 10?
I give myself like a 5.
A 5? Yeah, that's fair, I think. I mean, based on your metric, I'm not saying one way or the other. So we're looking for...
That's fair.
Yeah, I think I'm a 5, so.
Which could attribute to this pick-me attitude. There are several potential negatives associated with embodying characteristics of a pick-me individual. Pick-me behavior can contribute to undermining solidarity among women by...
Oh, she's doing a little bit better, guys. She's on the grind. She's... All right, I didn't need to see that. She's on her grind set, guys. She's getting 20 to 60,000 views now on her 2 million. Hey, listen, I'll take those fucking numbers. That's probably good money.
Attempting to pit them against each other in competition for male approval.
I am going to be giving a special whiteboard presentation called Ladies, You Are Not As Special As You Think.
Oh, got him.
Men make society run and women don't. Our jobs, all the women could stop working tomorrow.
And one must...
Okay, obviously. Well, this is the point. It's like, what's the point of engaging with that? She obviously knows that she's wrong. It's just all for attention.
Think in order to get to that place mentally that you feel like you have to denounce all other women in order to feel above them or like you have an opportunity to be picked, you must feel pretty lowly yourself already. Like your options are few and far between. In a video titled Why I'm Able to Listen to Manosphere Content, Pearl gave a rather depressing outlook on her life. Pearl talked about how growing up, she felt undesired, which caused her to develop low self-esteem.
Loser. Sorry.
Even girls still ask me, like, how can you listen to this man? And I have one answer for you. Low self-esteem.
Growing up,
I guess at least she admits it.
Pearl never thought highly of herself, seeming that she was humbled from a young age.
From a young age, I haven't thought highly of myself. I never thought that I deserved a lot, to be honest. I never thought of myself as a queen. And I never thought of myself super highly.
Wow, what a surprise she gravitates towards the manosphere, huh? Jesus Christ. Said stuff, brothers.
I'm gonna just be honest here.
She also talked about how most of her friends were more attractive than her by societal standards, so most guys,
damn, and then you put that picture of her up. Come on, you know what you're doing.
Even the average ones would ask about her friends first, and then if they got rejected by her friends, they'd come to her as a sort of last resort.
Yeah, they probably weren't even coming to her. They were probably fucking her and then thinking about the other girl and coming to them. Listen, that's what I'm saying is that like Pearl is like truly cursed because it's one thing to be ugly. It's also another thing to be uninteresting, but it's a real thing to be ugly and uninteresting. You know, you need to develop other characteristics. If you're ugly, that's life giving you a challenge, but you'll be more interesting because you have to be more interesting, right? But Pearl somehow did not develop the more interesting part, and that's fucking what a interesting scenario, you know?
I was what you call humbled. Okay, most of my friends, right, were generally like more attractive than me. I was never the hot friend. Most guys, even the average guys, they would ask me about my friend first. And if that didn't work out, then they would come crawling to me.
So because she grew up with such low self-esteem, when someone like Kevin Samuels would tell women,
Jesus, that's fucking depressing, girl. What the fuck?
And that their standards were too high, that rhetoric would make more sense to Pearl because she already viewed herself in a dim light. Some of the manosphere's hateful rhetoric would only serve to confirm all the loathing that Pearl reserved for herself deep down. And instead of having to harbor that within herself, she now had an outlet. She could project all that loathing and self-hatred outward onto other women and maybe bring them down with her. Pearl claims that her only...
Terrible. Pearl, you gotta be on the girl side. All right, more bitches gotta stick together. You know what I'm saying? I'm a male feminist. You bitches gotta stick together. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Intention is to preach traditionalism. But if Pearl's genuine want was to help build up her own idea of traditionalism, she would simply live by example. But she does the exact opposite of that. Pearl doesn't live by any of the ideas that she preaches online. If Pearl was genuinely wanting modern women to lean more towards traditionalism, she would be happy when someone who is a modern woman takes the pivot or the plunge towards traditionalism or becoming a trad wife, right? I think she would embrace that, be ecstatic about it, And yet instead, this angers Pearl, especially when that other woman
The trad wife's anger Pearl?
receives a lot of attention for it. Former OnlyFans creator Nala Ray decided to convert to Christianity and post online about her sort of journey to traditionalism. Instead of being
And when is she going to make her OnlyFans again? Because come on, it's got to be some kind of an angle, no?
happy about this supposed win for the trad wives, or embracing her as you would expect Pearl to do, Pearl was outraged by it and all the attention that
Why she? Oh, she got outraged by the attention? Probably because she was getting less attention herself. Oh, fuck.
Nala was receiving.
This former sex worker and Michael Knowles go back and forth about me saying I need prayers. You guys keep saying I'm obsessed. I just want the truth to come out because, again, this happens all over the country where stars come out, say they're sorry, and you guys hand them a microphone and make them a spokesperson of the word, and nobody has a problem with it. Jesus hated false prophets. He hated them.
She's probably true. She's probably right to some degree that this person is like almost grifting for attention, but it's still funny that she's so upset. You think she's genuine? Okay. I mean, maybe. I don't really give a shit, but it's just funny that it's upsetting Pearl so much, you know?
He went, he tore up the temple, guys.
Pearl, no one is saying that this girl is a prophet.
Critical, since Pearl claims that she wants to just inform women of all the dangers of feminism and why they should live a traditional life. But when someone does pivot that way, she doesn't accept them. This is the person that Pearl ultimately became through both her upbringing and her life online. And while
Damn. How many real life friends do you think that she's tried to sabotage, dude? It's so sad.
it's important to examine how a harmful person became who they are so that we can try to better understand their motives. The most important part is understanding the true damage that they did. Because like any villain origin story, once Pearl transformed into a self-hating person with even the tiniest bit of social media power, she used that power to bring down others, do as much damage and spreading hateful rhetoric as she possibly could.
Kind of based, if you think about it. Very masculine quality.
So let's discuss the harm
Girl bossing right now, baby. Gatekeep. Girl boss.
of Pearl. An essential component to the story of Pearl is the role that the Black Manosphere played in Pearl's initial career.
Racist? I'm just kidding.
Here,
The community she's in is actually the Black Manosphere.
platforming her, and ultimately how she utilized
Because she wants that black man in here. You know what I'm saying? In her womb, that's the joke, guys. Just in case you didn't understand.
their support, while
In case you couldn't understand my next level of intellectual humor, I'll just explain it to you, stupid idiot plebeians. I'm just kidding.
also going on to exploit those within the Black Manosphere, and then goes on to spread racist statements online and platform racists.
Oh yeah, when she platformed fucking Nick Fuentes, yeah, and she was like, he's not racist, even though he is like explicitly says that black people are biologically inferior than white people. Like, yes, he is racist.
So what exactly is the Black Manosphere? There's a great video by YouTuber FD Signifier that extensively dives into the subject.
The manosphere, black or otherwise, is at its core a byproduct of men aligned to a specific performance of masculinity under patriarchy, a performance that they aren't good at.
It would feel like a great disservice to boil down something that stems from complex racial and systemic issues embedded in our society that have resulted in the Black Manosphere into such a simple explanations.
They be poor, dude. Got to give black people more money, but not reparations. All right, let's do a UBI. Okay, that's what we got to do. Because that's the thing. When people generally speaking are poor, they gravitate towards what? Religion more. Tend to be a little more oppressive. Religion, listen, God can be great, but some people who follow religion can just be incredibly sexist and oppressive to people. So, I think that's really where it comes from. A lot of traditional values, and the sexism comes from those more traditional values.
So I highly recommend FD Signifier's video on the matter. Essentially, the Black Manosphere is a subsect of the Manosphere and a community of, primarily black men who share in a lot of the same ideologies on masculinity, while a lot of Manosphere content in general is based on the idea of the gender war.
Especially in the modern day where black women are gaining access to higher levels of education and economic status that black men are more intensely barred from. A lot of these guys' content, what you mostly see is what I'll call black women's cringe content that explicitly seeks to characterize
Black women cringe content. Interesting. What the hell is that?
black women as degenerate or evil or stupid or...
Yeah, it's so interesting. I saw a video from some black guy or some black guy in like a Black Manosphere, and you know what he said? He said he basically said that it's always black women are like worse than any other woman. He was like, oh, black women, like any other woman, white, Asian, Hispanic, et cetera, like all of them, they know how to act and blah, 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 but it's always black women, isn't it? And I'm sitting here and I'm like, if you're part of the manosphere and you think that men are the most influential, impactful characters in the entire world, and you're telling me that there's just a problem with black women and that all other women are fine, the fuck does that say about black men? not trying to be an asshole. That's my just honest question. Like, it just kind of seems interesting that like that's going to be your take. Isn't that like a self-report? Like, once you handle your business, you know, just say it.
Hating of black men.
And while a lot of Black manosphere content creators claim to be creating content centered around betterment of men, as FD Signifier
it's just a male victim complex.
points out, most of their content ends up just being centered around demonizing or embarrassing women. Primarily in the Black manosphere, content creators focus on demonizing Black women.
Or the black manosphere is a battering ram for this frustration, for this conflict, to butt against black women and blame them and attack them because they're an easier target than white supremacy, especially for a lot of these men who have had certain views or certain experiences inform how they see the world.
In case you ain't heard it, but the price of has skyrocketed.
Damn, the price of pussy has skyrocketed. Why don't you just stay away from people who act a little bit degenerate, you know, instead of, you know what I'm saying? That's what I would do. Instead of making it seem like all black women are degenerate. Like, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where you find one bad example of somebody and you go like, see, this is all these people, blah, blah, blah. And you kind of go on like a fucking whole thing, you know?
I can already tell by the length of the eyelashes, in conjunction with the dexterity of the forehead bangs, that this will not be an intellectually riveting conversation.
Yeah, so then why like engage with it? You know what I mean? You know, I like to engage with that's what I call brain rot for fun, you know, but it sounds like that guy might be engaging with that in a way that's supposed to belittle black women. But I could be wrong, dude. I could be wrong.
Interesting that Pearl, a white woman, becomes so interested in inserting herself into a niche sect of the manosphere.
Sorry, Papa, but when men went to the war during the draft, the U.S. got 500% better. Is that true? It's because men were fighting wars. And there's a lot of financial movement during wars. So that's probably has a lot to do with it. But yeah.
Sphere that primarily criticizes and targets black women and, well, was created off of larger systemic and racial issues that she has never, day in her life, worked to try to understand or comprehend. Now,
this is so stupid. But my wife, you know, she works with people in the IDD community. And something that you should know about people in the IDD community is sometimes they can't, listen, they're just like everybody else. And they can sometimes be a little racist. So there's this one person that she's worked with before. And it's so bad. She'll go like, I'm black, I drink beer. And and then she'll say I'm Jewish. Like, it's, I don't know, it's just fucking crazy. It just popped into my head. It reminded me of that. It's just fucking it's ridiculous, bro. I don't know why that popped into my head, dude. Oh my god.
Much of this conversation is very complex and
sorry, that just popped into my head. I thought it was a little funny.
I don't want to oversimplify it, but I wanted to bring up the basics of the black manosphere world just so that it could be understood how odd it is that this is the part of the manosphere that Pearl decided to become heavily
What's IDD? Intellectual and developmental disability.
Involved in. Out of all the different categories in the manosphere, she didn't get involved with the pickup artists, primarily creepy white dudes.
Hey,
Hey. True.
I just saw you and I want to let you know that I would swim up the Amazon with a 45-pound dumbbell tied to my scrotum.
She didn't get involved.
Hey. I saw you and I just wanted to let you know that I would eat a mile of your shit just to lick your asshole. Checkmate. That's how you hit on a woman. That's how you hit on a woman. Anything you eat becomes sweeter after it goes down that log flume. If you know what I'm saying.
With the debaters, though we know that's why she can't debate for shit.
You know, your big push is that you care about men and you don't think that men are getting enough of a say. But hang on, I haven't made the point yet.
Pearl got involved with the black manosphere, which primarily targets black women. By doing so, didn't just put herself against
and she still can't get any dick. It's crazy.
Women, but deliberately put herself against black women and tokenized herself as an example of a good woman on these podcasts. In this video from Signified B-Sides, what do you notice about the thumbnails from JustPearlyThings content?
Women cause divorce and women need to be submissive and nobody cares about men.
Interesting.
Why are you trying to make the claim that she explicitly tries to go after black women? I mean, that might be true. It also might be true that since she's in a black manosphere, there's more black women that are willing to come onto her podcast. You know, so I just to be clear, those are also possible. I don't know if she's explicitly racist. I think that she's I don't know that she's an active racist or if she's like a compliant racist, I guess, like running too much defense for someone like Nick Fuentes and shit like that. Not because she's actually racist, but because she's just trying to be like, compliant. she's just trying to be edgy and like, oh no, and defensive of somebody who she feels like she could be positive on her. I don't know if she's actively looking for black women to berate, but it also she might be. I don't know. I don't watch enough of her. Well, I do. I watch her content sometimes, but
a lot of creators noticed this and started pointing out that JustPearlyThings was clearly pandering to the black manosphere.
I think I deal with more city girls than anyone on this panel with the amount of people I talk to in a week.
City girls? What does that mean?
Why do you feel like you surround yourself with those type of people? Why do you bring on those type of people?
They make good TV.
What is your
Oh, never mind. If she's saying they make good TV, then it sounds explicit.
so you're doing it for entertainment?
Yeah.
So that's your whole, like,
it's an entertaining show. Yeah.
If she was just creating content for entertainment, then she doesn't actually care about any of the racial issues happening. Instead,
of course not.
Inserted herself into the middle of it simply to exploit and profit from it.
Just Pearl is no different to the Kevin Samuels of this world, Symphagies, the Melanie Kings. There's a few others. I can't remember the names.
The Dingledorfs, very popular manosphere person.
Women I've seen who pander to their audience
them
at
up.
the detriment of the other gender, and they do it for entertainment and fun and money, destroying community through entertainment.
What's so sinister about the way that Pearl utilized her platform is that, of course, she regurgitated common manosphere talking points, but on top of that, Pearl took common black manosphere talking points and started reiterating them on her platform.
They allowed anybody who agreed with their rhetoric and their talking point to now lay hold and claim of their space. The black men in the black manosphere had a problem with their modern women or black women, whatever you want to call it, right? And I call it almost same talking points, the same ones they discuss every single time: baby mothers, single mothers.
Yeah, I remember. Here's the thing: I can't identify a specific time, but I've seen Pearl before. Like she just will, somebody, especially like fresh and fit, will make a point, and then she'll be like, "Oh yeah," and she'll just start making that point. You know, it's all just whatever she can get attention on. She's just saying whatever she has to. I wonder how beneficial videos like this, like even me reacting to these types of things, are when it comes to it, because like Pearl thrives on negative attention. Like that's the only way that she thrives on negative attention. Like I think that's the only level of credibility she has in her community too, is like, oh, this is the person that triggers the liberals, you know? So I wonder if we just stopped talking about Pearl, if things would just get better. At the same time, I love slop. I love a good you know what I mean. I'm kind of a bitch. I'm like I'm a little bit of a Wendy Williams. You know what I mean. So I don't know if I could help myself. You know.
Women that are 304s and women that are side chicks and
304. Thank you so much for the $2 from Pink Kisses. You remind me a lot of a young Gary Busey. I don't know if that's a good thing. All I really know of is Gary Busey when he's old. And he's a little bit crazy, so I hope that's a compliment, man. Thank you. I'm gonna take it as one, regardless. Actually, fuck it. I'm gonna stand on business.
Modern
Thank
women,
you.
they have the same old rhetoric. It's not hard to play, you guys. It's not hard to play, you guys, because there's a lack of nuance and there's a lack of critical thinking going on within these communities. This space has the same rhetoric that cults do, and it's not hard to recognize the speech patterns once you start spending time with them. So no wonder when someone comes in,
holy shit,
enters the black manosphere space with the same talking points, but is a white woman, no wonder she's heralded. No wonder.
The Black Manosphere, in turn, welcomed her in as a part of their community, at least initially. Article written by Astra Xavier, titled JustPearlyThings, of Self-Inflicted Wounds and Lessons to be Learned, talks about the fallout with JustPearlyThings in the Black Manosphere. According to Astra, the Black Manosphere rallied to Pearl, as Pearl had professed her love to them as well, and seemed to be saying all the right, surface-level things for those in the Black Manosphere. Pearl also allegedly claimed her love of black men within the dating space.
Bro, I know she definitely likes black guys in the dating space. I'm convinced. There's just that she likes it. She likes black dick, dude. She loves it. You know that, right, Demon Toriyasu? You know that.
I've dated mostly black guys.
See?
Yeah.
Your boy's on 10 with it, see? Is there a reason for that? Have you delved into that reasoning?
I wanted to piss off my racist dad. My mom, probably your mom. Probably because her mom is fucking racist. And so she's like, oh, my mom doesn't like black guys. And then she developed a like for black guys or something. They seem like the type. They look like they live in a fucking, they look like they live in a fucking plantation home. So it's like, my mom fucking hates black guys, so I decided to date one. You know?
Reasoning? I don't know. I think part of it is like, I feel like black guys are usually more extroverted. And like, I like extroverted. I like talkers. I'm a chit chatter. I get along with chit chatters.
Okay.
One. And then two, I don't know. I just like I think black guys have very nice smiles because it like looks like whiter, to be honest.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. I like black men as an art piece. You know, because they smile and they're so dark that you could see their smiles better. I find it so beautiful. I mean, okay, whatever you're into, Pearl, you just fucking weirdo.
Double contrast, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be fine of what she's saying if she wasn't a weird internet person. You know what I mean? I love black cock because my mom hates black men. She fucking hates them. My mom and dad are racist.
Have you ever discussed with your parents that certain attraction like that?
Oh, yeah, they know. They don't care.
Eventually, the bad sides of Pearl and the general hypocrisy of everyone involved would come out. UK YouTuber Sarah Garvey claimed that he helped Pearl when she was just starting out on her career in the manosphere influencer realm.
So when she came to London, she said that she wanted to make a podcast, and I said, no problem. Okay, let's talk about it. And I decided to feature on her show. Now, when I featured on her show, because of my following in the UK, people would tune in. So essentially, I helped Pearl grow her channel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He said a few different things. I'm not sure how much I believe this guy because his platform isn't particularly like robust. So I'm not sure how much he actually helped her build. But also, I could be fucking wrong. I don't really know. You know.
Channel. Okay, I was on there.
Like some of the business tactics they talked about didn't seem particularly like crazy. When it came down to it, like I don't know all the specifics and like how I don't know. I don't really care. I talked about it before.
But when Sarah Garvey was collaborating with Pearl and getting to know her, he noticed something else. He noticed that Pearl was possessed with what he calls a colonial mindset.
Based.
Something he claimed to be aware of early on.
So I began working with Pearl, and from the beginning, I started to think that maybe this girl has a colonial mindset. Now, we all know...
Got to get that colonial mindset, colonial grindset, baby.
...that we don't want to be paranoid. So I kept working with her. However, the more I worked with her is the more that I saw. She had a colonial type viewpoint when it came to black people.
What does that mean? Like she's trying to dominate them?
Sarah Garvey showed examples of him trying to educate her on colonialism. And you can see in the clips her just kind of playing dumb, claiming that she has no idea what he's talking about.
I had to school her a few times on what it was like.
Yeah, this was all in the wake of like the Nick Fuentes thing when she was like super downplaying Nick Fuentes' being racist, even though he's very explicit about how racist he is.
To be black and the black experience, and also what slavery and colonization was actually like.
Do you think that?
Oh yeah, she said that. I think that was one of the things she said, where that slaves weren't even treated that badly. Like it's fucking, she's psychotic, bro. Like she's fucking insane.
Historical catastrophes must be compensated for.
No.
No.
That's stupid. So what do you mean by the colonization?
So the colonization of Africa, so both the people and the resources.
Wait, so you're saying like in Africa, when you say colonize, you're saying like did England come in and colonize?
Yeah, like so Europe, France, Spain, Portugal.
Okay. I'd say get good, dude. I'm gonna die right here. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't say that. But
the irony came when Sarah Garvey found out that Pearl was actually trying to colonize the black manosphere space, offering contracts to YouTubers where they would sign away their labor to her for what he describes as a mere pittance.
If we look at the contracts that they signed, you would understand the reason why I use the term colonization and colonial. She said she would want me within her studio 4 days per week. I said, so working 4 to 5 days a week for 7 hours is essentially a day job. She said she does percentages. So I said, okay, cool. Well, what's the percentage? She said, Sarah, you're the high end, so you will get 70-30. So I said, fine, okay, let me listen. 70% goes to me and 30% goes to you. Now she looked at me and she said, no, 70% goes to me.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good or a bad contract. I mean, if she's hiring all the if she's doing all the editing, if she's offering the studio, if she's this, that, and the other thing, then like it doesn't seem like that bad of a contract. But we also don't know the details of it. She never responded to the details of the contract, so we're never gonna like know the explicit details of all of it. So I don't really know. I mean, it might not be that bad, 70-30. I mean, I don't know. If they're doing everything else and you're just the one talking in the studio, then why not?
Hell, and 30% goes to me, Sarah Garvey. And that's when I started scratching my head.
So even though she acted dumb when Sarah Garvey would bring up the topic of colonialism, she would go on to employ these exact same tactics within her own business as a...
Well, I don't know if it's the same tactic. I think that when it came to colonialism, that we just kind of stole everything, or white people kind of just stole everything. It wasn't like, well, I'll give you 70-30. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but...
business strategy. Now, when I first studied Pearl, I was very tempted to see her as stupid. It's very easy.
She's very stupid. Yes, no, she's extraordinarily stupid.
To look at a lot of the content she posts and just write her off as a very stupid person.
She is.
To simply write Pearl off as dumb is to brush aside the harm of Pearl, as one would do with a child, or what those with internalized misogyny often do to girls, as if they somehow just get themselves in over their...
Listen, I'm sexist, but I don't think she's dumb because she's a woman, okay?
head. It's okay, dumb little one. You didn't know any better. Go swoon on a fainting couch, read your romance books, or whatever it is girls do.
Oh, dude, you can't ask that question. Somebody asked, "Hey, Papa, why are so many black guys into mid-white women?" Bro, you can't. You can't. I don't even think that's real. That's a wild statement, brother.
And leave the podcast mics to the real men. Either way, to treat
Ooh, got her.
Pearl as if she's not an adult who has a power and a responsibility to equip herself with knowledge over what she's saying would be equally irresponsible on my part.
We're supposed to believe that this highly educated, rich white girl from the Midwest doesn't know what colonization is. No, when there's something that she's against, when there's something she doesn't really want to ride for. Like,
well, she just does. I don't think that she cares. Like, she probably doesn't give a shit about like any racism. She probably thinks it's all like gone and that systemic racism doesn't exist and like everybody just needs to shut up about it, you know?
reparations, she wants
Kind of based, if you know what I'm saying.
Stupid. She wasn't born under a rock. She wasn't born yesterday.
Yeah, she was born in America, not Iraq.
Knows what colonization is. She knows what it was like. She's playing fucking stupid because it benefits her. Because she can always fall back on this. Well, I wasn't really educated in the subject matter.
Well, I mean, she went to a Catholic school. Do you really think that she was taught colonization in Catholic school? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Pearl didn't go to a public school. She went to fucking Catholic school. She probably really did not learn very much about like history of racism at all. It was probably all dog shit. They probably did prayer classes instead of talking about systemic racism. I don't think that she's highly educated in any capacity. So
Sarah Garvey exposes that the black content creators working for Just Pearly Things, King Riches, and Auntie Jenny were on contracts that give Pearl 85 to 90% of the revenue. These YouTubers would only receive 10 to 15% of the profit just for the privilege of shooting in her studio while they did all the heavy lifting, all of the work.
Well, I'm not sure of how much of that is true, but that is pretty low percentages.
She said it's 10 to 15%. So essentially, she could be owning 80% of the content, which is basically the monetized views on somebody's channel, and they only take home 15% of the money. She said yes. I said, Pearl, how long are these contracts for? She said 3 years.
It sounds like such.
Well, listen, it does. I don't know how bad it sounds. Like, here's the thing. If you're a YouTuber that's doing like nothing, like you're not good, you're not pulling any views at all, and you attach yourself to Pearl's network, that could be a view boost for you in general. But then on top of that, you know, you could potentially be like losing her money if you're not getting a lot of views per stream or whatever. When you come in, then that would be her justifier. It's like, yeah, I take 90% because like you get like 100 live stream viewers, and it's not like enough to justify it. So I have to recoup my losses. But they still get, like, even after 3 years, if they decided to leave, they're still going to be able to take that audience with them and like walk away pretty good.
Such extreme exploitation, you'd think that Pearl would outright
maybe
deny it or make it try to sound better, but instead, in the comment section, Pearl just seemingly confirms Sarah Garvey's claims.
She says, "Sad music. People get lost in having 100% of nothing or 30% of something. Can I get a ta-ta-ta sound effect?" Yeah, that is her saying that, you know, it's 30% of something. Right now, hold on, there's more.
Yeah, it might honestly be fun. Like, I don't really see this fundamentally as that big of an issue.
Sad music. I'm looking for someone to do my morning show online at 30% cut if anyone's interested. Like, stop the show, like.
Initially, both employees, King Riches and Auntie Jenny, tried to defend Pearl and probably more so their jobs.
Do the cameras belong to me? Does this belong to me? No, Pearl pays for this.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, Pearl has a very robust setup. I have a fucking computer streamer setup. It cost me like, with everything together, it cost me like $6,000. I don't know, but that's a lot. My first streaming setup was an $1,800 computer, like a $60 webcam. The mic was like $80, fucking like cheap ass chair. You know what I mean? Like, you could, you know, we're not just doing a streamer setup. I mean, she has like legitimate cameras, lighting, a microphone equipment. Like, my shit still squeaks sometimes when you know what I mean? Like, I'm ghettoing it up here. Her dad pays for it probably, but still, like, she has all of this infrastructure that looks very professional, and that like level of professional lookingness will add something to your content. You know, you don't need to have it necessarily to start, but it can add a lot to your content. And so, like, yeah, I think that I don't give a shit that these people got 10% when by themselves a lot of them are that's not like they're coming in with anything. A lot of these people seem to be kind of nobodies, you know, coming in that nobody knows about. So it's like 3 years, you get 10%, sure, but you get the radio show or whatever, and then after those 3 years, maybe you blow up and you're able to either renegotiate or you can go do your own thing. So I'm not really that I don't know. We don't know the details of it, so I don't really care about that. I went to the bathroom. We're back. Anyway, I like this. Somebody donated $5. Rajic V. Wenner. In the Virginia Catholic school I went to, we never learned who won the Civil War. Also, did you see? Yeah, didn't respond to Lexi, but I wanted to read the first part because, yeah, like I was saying before, I don't think that, like, I just want to be clear, okay? I'm very invested in the idea. Pearl is not smart. Okay, I don't think that she knows what like. I'm sure she has a rough idea of what like colonization is, but Pearl has no robust understanding of like what colonization is. She went to a fucking like a Catholic school. She probably didn't learn shit. So I just want to be clear. She's a stinky little doo-doo dummy pants. Okay. Thank you so much for the $5 from Max I. How much to save your beer on stream? I don't think so, brother.
Right? She don't pay for this, but she pays for all of this. So
Pearl even called her employees at one point her Africans.
Pearl
Well, you can't say your friends from Paris, you know?
got exposed because she made the clip talking about those are her Africans.
I'm trying to get my Africans in America. My Africans.
King Richard
Okay, Jesus.
tried to defend the situation by saying that even if Pearl was racist, he wouldn't care.
This is an honest moment.
Kind of based, actually. A little. That guy's a little bit based.
Yeah, this is an honest moment. And Pearl even heard me say this. Even if Pearl were a hardcore racist, yeah, knowing my situation, how I'm growing and how everything's going in the right direction, would it make sense for me to just up and leave?
I think these situations...
Well, that doesn't mean he's saying he would be okay. I think that's more of him saying, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm trying to be a successful young man. So.
More so highlight employees being afraid to leave a potentially racist employer due to being locked in a contract. But that's just my opinion on the matter. Soon after the controversy, Insider and Yahoo News reported that Pearl was
Yahoo! Like Mario.
planning to try and sue Sarah Garvey. In a message to Insider, Pearl described Sarah Garvey's claims as defamatory and false, suggested that she intended to pursue legal action, and said that Garvey had...
So then she should have, or she should have just explained herself. Like, she could have came on and be like, yeah, I give people percentage deals. And here's why. Like, I own all the infrastructure. I have a studio. I have the computers. I hire the people who do the thumbnails, the this, the that. He's exaggerating how much time he had to spend in the studio. That could be possible. I don't know if that's true. If this is anything, if she doesn't do that, though, it does insinuate that she's guilty. So just to be clear, but
had an agenda against her for months. But Pearl refused to share information about the contracts between her and her employees, as that's private information of my employees, because she just cares so much about protecting her employees and their rights, obviously. But eventually, both Auntie Jenny and King Richie's left the Just Pearly Things network. Auntie Jenny's...
Damn, I guess they've actually felt some type of way after that. Damn, maybe she's a lot more guilty than I'm saying. So...
spoke about how she felt during her time working with the Just Pearly Things team.
as far as I'm concerned, I don't even care about respect from black people. She's got no respect for me because, like, you know what? I've spoken to her. I've talked to her. She's ignored me. I just think that they're letting her go down this view. And why are they going down this view? Why are they allowing her to go down this road?
Damn, they're fucking going in on her. That's crazy.
And it seems from this
Do I
statement
think that Pearl suffers from fetal alcohol syndrome? Is that a serious question?
that when Auntie Jenny tried to speak up about how she felt uncomfortable with the way that the Just Pearly Things content was leaning more and more controversial, she was ignored. Then King Riches also left the network.
What's going on, people? King Riches. Hey, listen, I've got some news that I'm sure a lot of you will find interesting. I have left the Just Pearly Things network, the JPT network. Just Pearly Things direction is not the same direction that I want to go in.
He left in a pretty respectful manner, but it seemed to many people that a lot of the things that Pearl was saying at the time, which we'll get to, caused both employees to feel that there was a misalignment in their beliefs and identity and that they should go their separate ways. So that was how Pearl tried to utilize the Black Manosphere space to bolster herself up within the Manosphere community. But Pearl also used other content tactics like rage baiting, content designed to make people react.
Oh yeah, that's whole everything is rage baiting. Like that's all she has.
Engage, whether positive or negative, help the algorithm boost Pearl's platform. And some of the statements that Pearl would say became more and more extreme. So let's dive into some of the supposed beliefs of Hannah Pearl Davis.
Ooh, the beliefs of Hannah Pearl Davis. There none. She has no beliefs. She's a fucking grifter.
As stated briefly before, Pearl believes that the education system has been ruined simply because women took over the education.
No. It's a very common conservative talking point to talk about how the education system has been ruined. So Pearl's saying that because of that, and like because she's trying to pull a conservative audience, because that's all she could really like. That's what she's just going into that direction. She's trying to go in that direction. And so like she just has to attach women to it, like women bad as part of that.
Education system.
Women go into industries and ruin them. So like in the 1850s, men were the majority of the teachers, and IQ has steadily been dropping, and especially the education.
There's no way that IQ has been dropping since the 1850s. There's no fucking way. Is IQ dropping recently? I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I'm sure it probably has a lot to do with, teachers having to work 2 fucking jobs and not being able to solely focus on one thing. But since the 1850s is the most preposterous fucking insinuation I've ever heard in my entire life. A fucking moron would only believe that. You'd have to be a legitimately fucking dumb person to think that since the 1850s, IQ has been dropping. That's insane. You have to be the dumbest of the dumb fucking people in the entire world. Jesus.
Education system.
And yet simultaneously, Pearl believes that women have an unfair advantage in the education system because it's all women.
In my opinion, the schools favor the women. And how do I think they do this? One, it is a completely female staff. Now let's look at the last 100.
Women just tend to be teachers more. I don't know why. Like women just, those are like the roles women tend to just gravitate towards. It's funny where if it's an industry that men gravitate towards, then then Pearl thinks that women should stay out of there. But if it's an industry that women tend to gravitate towards, then so there's some kind of magical systemic oppression against men. Women just are more likely to be teachers. Like that's it.
100 years are women.
They just like teaching. I don't know. That's like I feel like it's that's like an empathy role. Women tend to be more empathetic.
Typically sympathetic to men.
I just realized what makes this even more sad is that Pearl's mother also was an ex-teacher. So she's also bashing her mother again in a passive-aggressive way. But
makes sense. She hates her mom, so.
No matter what, keep Pearl away from the education system and children in general because she tweeted this once. 16-year-old chicks are
women do women things. Not that deep. Like, exactly.
Hotter than 26-year-old chicks.
Base Pearl? Yeah, that's really, I agree so much. Why would you want the audience that thinks that 16-year-old girls are attractive? That's disgusting. That's the coach that tried to fucking molest you, Pearl. Like that legitimately is the coach who tried to molest you. But you're gonna sit here and I know it's rage bait, but it's like you realize that you're just making that joke. Like you're just justifying what your coach did to you. That was a really upsetting moment to you.
At least she changed the age from 16 to 18 in this clip.
The hottest chicks are between the ages of 18 to let's say 25.
In her content, Pearl also often calls women whales or fat.
You also described whales as something else. What was that?
Oh, fat chicks.
Yeah, so why?
It's just to be disrespectful. And I find it so interesting that Pearl body shames women, especially since she looks like a wet clothes on a hanger. Like I really don't understand it. Like it's one thing to be a super hot girl and be like, oh, ugly fat girls are ugly. That's fine. I get it. I get where you're coming from. I disagree. I like fat women. But it's another thing to look like that and be like, guys, like she could stand to gain a little bit of weight. She looks like, have you seen her recently? She legitimately looks malnourished. So, maybe stop commenting on people's bodies.
I said, you're a whale. You're a whale.
So I was actually watching your podcast earlier and you spoke to someone who was, I would say, probably a size 12 and you called her fat, obese and a divorcee.
She was fat, obese, and a divorcee.
was.
I mean, like, I don't know what to say. This is the thing, women, we don't want to live in reality. Why do I need to look at your roles and then I have to go on social media? Then boom, whale. Boom, another whale.
Really know what to say to that other than, is that really the best you can come up with? That's the type of name calling that one would hear in middle school. It's so uninspiring at this point. It's almost embarrassing.
Yeah, if you're going to be mean to me, make it funny. You know what I mean? Be funny about it.
Like when people used to call me alien in middle school because I was lanky and had a big forehead. Where
Sorry, that's not nice.
My big forehead girlies at. Pearl has claimed that birth control is the root of all evil.
Oh, shit. Because it lets men get away with fucking girls and not having to take care of kids.
Pearl's world, I'd get rid of birth control. I'd ban it, but that'll never happen.
Why?
I think that's the root of all evil. And I'd actually go.
The root of all evil is birth control, guys. Yeah, you're right.
The root of all evil.
The root of all evil.
And her reasoning is because it, does its job. And so women are not burdened with responsibility.
Why? Because there's freedom without responsibility. And before women, like I believe in consequences for your decision.
Whoa. Me too. I also believe in consequences for your decision, guys. Am I red-pilled?
Well, that small responsibility of raising a human into the world and hopefully bettering the future of humanity through the methodology in which you're able to raise such human, hopefully with empathy, kindness, safety, and compassion that they're able to carry on with them into their adulthood and employ to others. Just that small responsibility that women are avoiding. How dare they put that off for some later time when they're ready to take on that responsibility? She claimed in the same breath that women also should not be able to vote, trying to link it back to the military because men get drafted, but women don't.
Okay, well, men can't give birth. So like, it's so silly to focus on these differences. It's just like dumb. And she knows that. Like, she's just being an idiot.
I think if we want to vote, equally draft us. Y'all want equality. And personally, I don't want to get drafted, so I'll be in the kitchen.
I don't know what decade she's living in, but the
I'm pretty sure Pearl cannot cook. That's one of the problems with Pearl. She can't even cook. She's not even a good cook, so she won't be in the kitchen. She'd make dog shit. She's not wifeable. She'd make fucking poopy garbage food.
Last draft was in the 1970s. Additionally, instead of saying, hey, selective service seems unfair and unnecessary because we already have a lot of...
We haven't done it since like the 50s or something. Like it's never going to happen, but yeah, sure. I mean, I agree. It's kind of unfair, but I also don't care because I'm old enough to not have to deal with it.
People volunteering for the military. Pearl tries to overcomplicate the situation by pointing the blame at women and feminists, which seems like purposefully roundabout reasoning, as opposed to others who just believe that selective service is unnecessary because there are enough people in the military already. So,
yeah, we have enough dumb conservatives going into the military that we don't need to draft anybody. I'm just fucking around, but I'm pretty sure like 70% of the military is conservative. But the military really does like prey on like low IQ people that like have trouble. You can't be too low IQ, but that have trouble getting other jobs that like it's out of desperation. Let's just not even say low IQ. Let's say people that are doing it out of desperation, trying to get like you go to college or something for free. So
I know re-enlistments are declining. I know.
So feminists actually, they want the draft abolished. So their point is, let's not sign up for the service. Let's abolish the draft altogether. That is also equality, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Nice. Good answer, Pro.
I've never heard him talk about that, but
on top of that, as a former
Well, you don't talk to feminists. You talk to annoying people that look bad.
military wife, I'm kind of convinced that Pearl just knows nothing about the military. Not only are women very involved in the military, with 17.3% of the active duty force being comprised of women, also Pearl's point was that women wouldn't be affected by a war because they're not obligated to participate in the draft.
Well, of course they would be affected by the war. Their husbands and sons are going into the war, so.
But military wives and military families are very affected by war and political conflict. You don't have to be an active duty member to be someone involved in the military who's affected by a political conflict.
Why women shouldn't vote. I wanted to know why men were so angry about women. Why are there all these complaints about women? And
I feel like men and women just complain about each other because they date each other and they have bad experiences with the people that they date, so they think that they're shit. That's pretty much it. But most people understand that it's like not like this meaningful hatred. Oh wait, I didn't do that. It's not this meaningful hatred. So.
And when I started researching the stuff, it was pretty easy to figure out why. 90% of women have been on birth control. 1 out of 3 women has had.
Oh no.
1 out of 3 women.
I mean, guys usually like a girl on birth control, so they can come in them. But okay.
Has an STD. Average body count is over 5, so your average wife has slept with over 5 people.
Who cares?
95% of women are not virgins on their wedding days. So I understand the complaint.
Why would you want to have a virgin on your wedding day? Like, how do you know the sex is going to be any good? I feel like that's something that you want to definitely experiment with before you marry somebody.
How dare they take away the voting? A logical conclusion from Pearl, who's definitely not an AI random word generator, cued in on manosphere terms, regurgitating common talking points without ever coming to a conclusion or making any sort of argument whatsoever.
Why do you think women shouldn't vote?
Oh, because I just think we're too emotional. Like,
True.
I mean,
Gotta love this.
True, guys. True.
This guy Troy's enthusiastic true. Pearl's almost boring stereotypical claim that women are too emotional, therefore they shouldn't vote, went on in this
women are too stinky
clip to claim that women being able to vote is what caused the breakdown of the family unit. Also,
based. No, there's a lot of different things. I mean, the breakdown of the family. Things are just shifting because society is changing, and we just need to figure out different ways to incentivize people to have babies. But like, yeah, I guess women working does change. It shifts the dynamic of the typical family unit, and guys have to adjust to that. So now guys have to come to the table with more than just a job. They have to come to the table being like a decent father that's there for their kids and actually, is attentive, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I mean, there is a decline in religious beliefs. Part of that, I think, is because religion is, in many instances, oppressive to different groups of people. I don't think it has to be, but it unfortunately has been used in that way. I think that's part of it. People tend to gravitate away from education or gravitate away from religion as they become more educated. There's lots of different things. All we can really do is understand that like we are better as a society than we ever have been, and we should just figure out how to deal with some of these problems in an intelligent way.
Women being allowed to vote allowed women to spend too much money, which in turn raised the taxes. So women are responsible for all destruction of families, as well as any raises of taxes. You silly, spendy, emotional woman right now. How does it feel to have so much destructive power at your fingertips? Crush entire societies.
Women are too powerful. We have to stop them. Women are too powerful. We must stop these women.
The power of your vote. Go out and vote.
then like, look what's happened.
A lot of money's being spent. Taxes are raised.
Family unit's gone.
Family unit's gone.
Post-marriage society.
Pearl's solution to this problem is that any woman in debt should not be allowed to.
Pearl's solution is to support the fucking Walter after he knocked a girl up. With abandoning that situation. Isn't that incredible?
Vote. But men in debt, it's okay. It's fine. That's okay.
We're all in debt, so nobody in debt can vote.
Including men?
I mean, the women have to go especially, but maybe some men. I mean, but to act.
Okay, incredible.
It's like it's the same. Like this is my.
Why? How is it not the same? People are in debt.
Problem. The trad cons will come in, or the liberals, and they'll say, "What about men?" Yeah, a lot of men shouldn't vote too, but the women is the worst part.
So, just to keep up with all of this, Pearl believes that if a woman enters an industry, that industry will get ruined. But since women aren't in equally tough industries as men are, like the military, they shouldn't be able to vote. But also because women gained the ability to.
Well, she also probably doesn't think women should be in the military. She said that she doesn't think that there should be female cops. So
vote, families are torn apart, the economy's destroyed. Pearl claims that women are more attractive when they're younger, but when they get into a relationship, which they shouldn't wait until they're too old for, they should not use birth control because it's evil. Even though when you're younger, you're probably less prepared to have a child. And yet, on top of that, Pearl has condoned men cheating on their partners and stated she'd be okay with her future husband cheating on her.
I think if you get a high value man,
I mean, I agree with that in her case because no other guy's going to ever be exclusive with her. So It makes sense. She would believe that. That's how you get a man to steamroll you. It's so funny because part of her probably does feel like, oh, if I tell a guy that's a high value male that they can cheat on me, maybe they'll be with me, but they'll never respect you. You'll never find anybody that respects you if you're okay with them cheating on you. That's fucking insane and funny that you would think that.
If you choose to marry, if I chose to go down the path of high value man, then that would also be signing up for high value problems. So if I chose to go down that path, I would know that it's a possibility. And I
High value problems, baby. Yeah, Pogger. I don't know what I'm doing in my life.
don't think I would want to ruin an entire family over that. So would I give him permission? No. But if it happened, am I going to break up my whole home?
He makes some
I mean, that's not that bad, but I've seen her say that you should let fucking high value men cheat. So
really bizarre claims about cheating.
If a woman cheats, she's trying to leave you. If a man cheats, he's just like it's like a handshake.
That's dumb to say that. I think that like that men and women generally do have a different relationship with cheating. I'm not gonna lie. I think that men don't necessarily put as much value into sex with other people as women do. That doesn't make it okay. There still is a problem with it. It's still not good. I will say that generally, like if a woman cheats, I'd say it's probably more likely to be a problem with like her actually, in the relationship. But there's still bad things. They're still bad. They destroy the trust of a relationship. You're still giving yourself to another person, part of like your emotional capacity to that other person. You're taking away from like your partner, and you're destroying their trust. So.
You can absolutely sleep with a woman who you may find very attractive and very sexy and everything else, but your heart is still completely with another woman.
Yeah, no, you cannot do that. You're just if you tell your partner that you're not going to be with any other women or any other people, and you do that, you're a liar and you're not a man. Like I don't know what to tell you.
100%. No, when you're in a relationship, you stay committed. That is the whole point of being in a relationship.
Not wait for
like it's just like men are supposed to be of their word, so you're not a man if you are not of your word. Like I think that a relationship can bounce back from cheating. That's fine. Either side, you guys can come to that term, but it's dumb to justify that behavior. What if you emotionally cheat? Yeah, it's also bad. All of it's bad.
This woman to get married. I actually hope for the day that she does, so she can eat her words. Pearl believes that nowadays women want too much control in relationships.
There is nothing worse than a controlling woman. Why? Because as women, it's like
There's nothing worse than a controlling person. Like I don't. Okay.
don't even know what we want. One day we want this. One day we want that. One day we feel this. One day we feel that. It's like we are not meant to be in control. But this idea that we have an equal say in relationships, I actually think it is mean.
Well, yeah, you do. You're half of the relationship now.
To tell women that. And I think it is mean to push women who let's just be honest, we're basically like big kids, right? That can just be propagated and like you can push us to do things. Like,
a little projecting there, bro.
I think it's mean to tell us to be in a role that we are not meant to be in.
Yes, women are just virtually big kids. That's why they also should be the ones.
That's why it should be okay to fuck actual kids, guys. 16-year-olds are hot. Yeah. That's what Pearl's perspective. That's Pearl's perspective there a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
To raise the next generation of children and take care of the home, because that's something big children would do. Like when you say you want to be trad wife, do you mean all the way back to lobotomy trad wife? You think women should
back to LeBron James?
Do nothing at all, not even domestic labor. Maybe we're miscommunicating something here. The idea of a traditional woman in modern times is just someone who lies on a couch and plays Candy Crush all day. So those are some of the bizarre talking points that Pearl has circulated. Believe it or not, Pearl's online behavior continued to escalate even more until it reached a tipping point.
Yeah, because she needs more attention. She needs more views. Dude.
And one of the most egregious things that Pearl has done is promote, I don't even want to call him an influencer. I would just say nefarious, hateful person, Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, that's where all the racism stuff started. Those are the guys that are making fun of me for being Jewish right now. His fans are upset. I don't know if it was in this segment.
Pearl started.
Was it in this segment that I talked about it, or was that in like another segment? I think it might have been another segment when I talked about like how I was doing a video from like that synthetic man guy who didn't like fall out because there was black people and shit, and he at one point talked about how Michael Rappaport wasn't white because he's Jewish. Michael Rappaport is an incredibly white person, and I was like, oh, this is like an anti-Semitic dog whistle, like. Irish, Italians, English people, Germans, everybody's fucking white. There even Hispanic people are white, but not Jews, because according to them, like they have to separate Jews from them because they hate them so much. And so like Nick Fuentes' crew that hates Jews. And when Nick Fuentes, by the way, will openly admit this. I don't know why they disagree with me, because your cum daddy will agree with me. They're like shitting themselves, like that's not true. It's like that is true. Like what are you talking about?
Becoming more well-known within the manosphere, she started aligning herself with different manosphere influencers. Once infamous manosphere...
You're so fucking dumb. Jewish is a religion, not a race. You're dumb. Okay, I shouldn't be so mean to you. There are ethnic Jews out there. Like Ashkenazi Jew is an ethnic Jew. Like Jewish is a religion and it's a race of people. Just to be sure. Sorry, I didn't mean to fucking instantly yell at you. No, it's both. Okay, like it's both of those things. Just to be very clear.
Content creator Andrew Tater-Tot was completely deplatformed and additionally thrown in the slammer. Many people were calling Pearl the next Andrew Tater-Tot.
The New York Post called her the female.
Yeah, sure. There's brown Jewish people. Okay, let's just be clear. I just want to be very clear. I'm not gonna keep going back and forth. This is the person that the guy was saying was not white. Okay, do you think you missed the part where I said Michael Rappaport, the whitest man in the fucking world? They were saying he wasn't white because he's Jewish. It is an anti-Semitic dog whistle, and you are wrong.
Andrew Tate. So she tapped into genuine female pushback to the excesses of wokery, or is she just an attention seeker? We'll find out in a moment.
In fact, in the 3 months since Andrew Tater-Tot was detained, Pearl's audience grew by 50%. Her YouTube
Well, I think that she also she talked to Andrew Tate around that time too.
subscribers jumped from 800,000 to 1.3 million. Pearl strategically started making appearances on other popular platforms in the manosphere, like the podcast Fresh and Fit, among other creators.
I'm gonna talk about this because I know things, unlike this one over here. No offense. I don't really care if you
Oh, no offense, you're dumb. That's what she's trying to say. Obviously, there's no offense there.
went through it. You don't know anything about the legal codes. It's easy to file restraining orders. I know. You don't really need any evidence. So again, this means nothing.
No,
to me.
even-
So, okay, I'll continue.
I don't think that you can just get a restraining order approved. It might be easy to file, but it doesn't mean you're going to instantly get it approved.
Hey, look, I'm
I'm sorry, Myron.
there was a whole witness there as well. What's his?
I thought so because she looked kind of slutty. So that's why I thought she was, but she looks like a wholesome girl. So
What is this, like somebody's shower that they're... Oh, it's Sneeko. Okay.
But the most controversial collaboration
You think he'd have better audio?
came when Pearl invited Nick Fuentes on her podcast. Fuentes is an American far-right political commentator who's known for extreme white supremacist, misogynistic, homophobic, anti-Semitic, and Islamophobic views and statements. While I could talk in length about all the disgusting things that Nick Fuentes has said, that
Well, there's really no point to like they're giving him any attention. Is too much attention.
would probably cause the demonetization of this video. That being said, there's an extensive history of reprehensible things that Nick Fuentes has said, and many, many reasons.
Yeah, he's compared to having sex with black people to having sex with dogs. Like, just to be clear, like this is the person that people are like, he's not racist. Like, he is very.
Why he should not be platformed.
And he's also Mexican, so I don't know why he hates Hispanic people too.
Now, Pearl advertised this podcast with Nick Fuentes as a debate, but despite being advertised
Yeah, she pushed back a 0%.
as such, once Nick Fuentes was on Pearl's podcast, she never challenged him on any of his views. And instead, the podcast turned into basically a platform for Nick to further promote his political viewpoints. Not only did Pearl platform Nick Fuentes, but she started agreeing with some of his takes.
Which, I agree with him on. Like, I admire Stalin, I admire Hitler.
I think I got red pilled a little bit more this interview.
Well, good. Well, I'd be the guy to
You admire Stalin and Hitler. Oh, incredible.
do it. I'm the human red pill.
Most notably, Pearl perpetuated the idea that slavery was embellished, which is something that she brought up multiple times on the podcast that Nick Fuentes never prompted her to bring up.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
The way they put
It reminds me of how black people complain too much. Is what is basically what she's saying.
American slavery as above all different types of slavery almost. The guy who made Root said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by. So they often, but that's what they do is they embellish, and I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible, it was. Right. But they want to make it like more horrible.
Then at some point in the podcast, Pearl gave Nick the opportunity.
Where do you think she learned that? I'm telling you, the woman that lives on a fucking plantation house probably has racist parents too. I'm just saying, bro. Okay? You know? That this is my thing, because she's racist. She's like, oh, they shouldn't diminish what black people are saying and thinking, and that's really racist. You do what I do. Just don't care about black people at all. That's how racist I am. You're not even on my radar. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm just joking around.
To explain why he believed the Holocaust was embellished.
My wife says I have to make sure I tell people that I'm kidding because I'm too sarcastic sounding.
All the while she's laughing along
And only autistic people watch my content. I'm kidding.
in the background.
Okay, but what they say is like 6 million. I don't think 6 million.
Europe decimated. 7 million Germans, 20 million Russians, 5 million Poles. Yeah. Just checking the till here, Mark, and it seems you're short a few million.
Predictably, this podcast did not go over well, even just for the fact that there was no intelligent conversation to be had. Pearl did not challenge any beliefs. She didn't bring any discussion to the table. She simply sat there and laughed and did nothing to challenge very damaging and harmful beliefs. Pearl received backlash across social media and took down the video. She uploaded a somewhat...
I think she put it back up, though, after she pretended like she stopped caring about her apology. She's like, she apologized as a performative measure, and then she double backed on the
apology video, saying she was going to take accountability for her actions, but then would go on to avoid discussing the topic with anyone who would try and broach the subject. For example, during Pearl's interview with the Trigonometry podcast, she would refuse to address the
I forgot about that. That was an interesting interview.
controversy, saying that there were legal things going on and that she would upload a video pertaining to the situation that would explain everything.
But you had him on, and then you took that interview down,
and apologized. So what happened with the whole thing?
Oh, I can't talk too much. There's like legal.
My boyfriend gets mad because he can't always tell when you're joking. He hasn't been watching you as long as I have. Yeah, sometimes like, oh, that's why I gotta be explicit. Wow, she looks so good here. She looks like the best goddamn scarecrow in the field there, brother. Woo! You know me, guys. I like to rub my dick between hay.
Things going on.
Legal things going on.
Yeah, there's not with Nick, but just but there's I have a video coming out about that whole thing. So you guys have to wait for the video. But I will say I did not find Nick to be racist. My staff actually did not find him to be racist.
The Black Manosphere, a community that had initially uplifted Pearl and platformed her, was, well, pretty pissed.
That's why you can't trust white people, okay, black people? Don't trust white people because you're just going to get pearled. All right? And black women, I'll give you pearls too. A pearl necklace. I'm just kidding. All right, that's a degenerate joke. I'm sorry.
At Pearl in the fallout of the Nick Fuentes podcast.
I'm Italian. The only times I'm on time for things is when I like get the time wrong. When I think I'm supposed to be there way earlier than I'm actually supposed to be there. Because I thought I was supposed to be here at 3.
Yeah, well, okay. Blessing was more late African.
Like black.
Yeah.
I won't. Okay, I'm sure he loved that joke.
So yes, the racial undertones, that's what we're talking about.
Like, listen, these jokes could be funny if they weren't from a legitimate white supremacist. That's the problem, is that you have like a bunch of legitimate racists here. That's the issue. That would have a meltdown if you made a joke about white people, by the way. That's the problem, too. They wouldn't be able to take both ways. Not like me, brothers. I could take it in the butt. That's like the issue there. Like, that's the problem with fucking people who make edgy jokes. Like, they make it as that's meant to be diminishing. That's meant to diminish like black people for being late. They're not trying to just have some good old fun, you know?
Way too comfortable, Felicia. Absolutely right. Way too comfortable.
Especially because Pearl went on another podcast with Nick Fuentes and did, again, absolutely nothing, while Nick claimed that interracial dating was wrong.
Gabby has a black boyfriend, you know? So it's like, do you think that's wrong?
I do.
Yeah, she should break up with him?
I do think that, yeah. I prefer that she wasn't doing that.
Even though Pearl herself has
incredible
dated black men before.
Pearl is only exclusively attracted to black men. She fucking loves black dick.
He did nothing to clap back at Nick. When the hosts of Trigonometry confronted Pearl about this, she just said that Nick's stance on interracial dating has more to do with his culture. Are you kidding me?
Incredible. Based.
Pearl even threw her staff member under the bus, claiming that she was being combative, while in her perspective, Nick was just kidding. Her overall argument for Nick being a good guy was that he showed up on time and was really polite, despite his harmful
Yeah, well, there you go. That's all you need.
Political views, which to me, again, is Pearl's attempt at...
It's a new audience that Pearl desperately wanted to fucking like virtue signal to. That's all it really boils down to.
Escaping controversy through playing dumb. Pearl issued a apology video, but the damage had been done, and there was no...
But then she retracted it, so it didn't matter.
...going back or regaining the support of the Black Manosphere.
Just know it's not an excuse. It's my own fault. I take full accountability for everything that happened. So the first thing is, why did you have Nick on? The reasoning behind having Nick Fuentes on was because I heard that he was on the no-fly list and he lost his bank account. So I did know that he was a known racist. I did know he was a known sexist. I did know that basically every bad name in the book from the right and the left, everyone hated him. I really just like to give people the benefit of the doubt when I interview them. I don't go into interviews
except for women, of course. You can't give women the benefit of the doubt there.
Trying to interrogate someone. I just more try to listen and see where they're coming from. In hindsight, that wasn't smart.
After receiving a ton of backlash for her podcast, Pearl...
Of course, the white nationalist is going to be polite. That's part of the tactic, right? It's like, oh, he seems like such a reasonable guy. That's what he's trying to get people to think about him. So, but yeah.
Pearl decided to go the opposite way and sort of rescind her apology by uploading the video unapologetic, where she retracted her original apology and went even harder.
I hope that this video tracks when Pearl started to actually like dress nicely after she got fucking grilled by Brittany Venti. It was actually very funny.
Against her opposers.
The community she's in is actually the Black Manosphere. So when she got canceled for what happened with having Nick Fuentes on because she was a fucking idiot, she was getting canceled in the Black Manosphere.
Damn, so many fucking people talking at the same. It's like, what am I at a goddamn movie theater right now? I wish. I haven't seen a movie in a while, man. I gotta tell my wife to go to movies. Exactly. That's why you can't be polite. You don't want to come across as racist. Okay, that's a good point.
And this is why, guys, never apologize to the mob because they don't want your apology. They don't care about you. My whole point is that these reaction channels are just sitting there looking for you to say the wrong thing. They're looking for you to...
It was funny because around this time, Abba decided to do like the DMCA strike on her for reacting to one of his videos, and it was just funny, just because she was being the kind of a bitch. Also, she barely reacted to it, but it's just funny.
Slip up, and they're not going to things in good faith.
Doesn't she believe women should be submissive, yet she won't submit to men telling her she's racist and wrong? She should probably take her own advice and be submissive and take the L. True.
The most foolish thing of all of this is in Pearl's interview with Trigonometry, she says, I do not find Nick Fuentes to be racist. My staff actually did not find him to be racist. Roll the clip.
No, we're still racist.
Oh, I'm not racist.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, Nick.
Yeah, I am a little bit racist. But
Pearl is a white woman who would not pick up on any racial microaggressions.
Oh, she knows he's racist. She doesn't care. Like, she's just a stinky baby.
Coming from Nick towards her staff.
Microaggressions. I don't know. That's fucking. It's not microaggressions. They're fucking regular aggressions. You know?
Nick often masks his extreme views in humor and satire. So while Pearl can just brush it off as just a joke and laugh at it, the underlying
just a joke things
message of what he's saying is still there. One of her ex-Black staff members, King Riches,
what did he go? Did he decide to go white? What did he raise his credit score? Sorry.
Came out and said that he even warned Pearl against having Nick Fuentes on as a guest.
And it felt forced to defend her. When I didn't defend her, and I said in the video, I'm not defending her. And I said in the video, I'm checking her. And I told her she has to adjust the thing she said. And I said to her that it wasn't a good idea having Nick Fuentes on there. And I said that he is a...
Ultimately, it seems like Pearl may have been trying to lean further and further into extremism and outrage content.
Yeah, that's where the money is now, right? Like, that's what the fucking Fresh and Fit we're doing too. Like, they literally, like, that's one of their friends of the show now. So
tap into and exploit that cultural underbelly, capitalize on that grift like so many of her media counterparts. But it ended up just exposing how disingenuous she truly is, because her entire start was developed within the Black manosphere and supporting the cause of Black manosphere ideologies. And to go from that to bringing someone like Nick Fuentes on and platforming him and his racist beliefs just exposed.
Sounds like you're saying rapist beliefs. But I wouldn't doubt it.
Shows how much Pearl doesn't actually stand for anything within these communities and is only trying to capitalize on the grift. So any supporters she had started to crumble away, especially as Pearl garnered more challengers who only further exposed that she has no idea what she's talking about. It is ultimately, to her core, dispassionate about it all.
Just trying to get that money, baby, you know? Just on that mindset, grind set.
Pearl's overall, fraudulent and dispassionate nature was further realized with the debate that she participated in alongside Ethan Klein of the H3 podcast. Ethan Klein brought on Pearl Davis to the H3 podcast for the intent of a well-rounded conversation in which he could respectfully...
Well, I don't know if that's true. I think he came on there to dunk on her a little bit, which is funny, but...
challenge her for some of her misogynistic views and damaging content that she puts out.
Generally, like, what kind of messages are you sharing on your platform? What kind of important messages is it that you find yourself are about?
What? What, you don't like my jokes, dude? I'm just joking. I'm not racist.
I believe in family, so I think that we should have policies that push family. I think that...
Yeah, I think that maybe we have a conversation about, like, healthcare being more accessible, childcare, preschool. These are things that would help promote families. We have incentive structures that make it less difficult to have a kid. That would be pretty good.
Feminism overall was a bad thing. I think that we should be... I think women are happier when we have, a family and kids over a career in the long run.
Might be surprised, but
why the fuck are you go do that, bro? Go find a guy. Go find somebody to impregnate you.
Do you feel that sometimes you argue from emotion rather than like concrete facts? I find that when you talk about, and I've watched a lot of your videos, you say stuff that I don't think has much of a backing in reality. It's based on feelings, maybe instead of not emotions, but feelings. You say, I feel this to be true. Do you feel you do that a lot or no?
I try. I would say I'm a woman, so...
Well, I mean, she looks fucking terrible here. The entire manosphere is like feelings based. Like, they say very few like facts. They'll have like a sprinkling of a fact, and with mostly just like emotional crybaby meltdown. That's why you got Fresh and Fit talking about how gross vagina is and how it's disgusting. Like, you're fucking gay.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Fact, you're gay. Got him.
At one point, Pearl says that divorce should be illegal unless...
Pearl, is your favorite musician Taylor Swift saying that she wished you could go out to the 1830s?
There's one-sided... A harmful statement that Pearl makes is when she claims that most domestic violence is mutual.
All right. If it's one-sided, physically abusive, okay, fine, divorce. We can allow divorce for those exceptions. But like, I've even talked to people that work at like centers, and they say that the majority of abuse is mutual. So it's not just one side's hitting the other. It's like mutual. So
just to be clear, that in a lot of instances, like, there is, I forget what it's called, but reactive abuse. There are I don't know how prominent it is, but there are instances, and it's probably more common than not, where one person's hitting somebody, the other person hits them as well. I'm sure that exists, but like, I don't think that's most of them. in any capacity. And to be honest with you, whether you want to hear it or not, like men are more violent. It's like not for like it's always wrong if you're getting hit or beat, but like a man hitting a woman is always going to cause more harm. You know, and that's one of the things that women can hide behind. Like they can hit a guy and then like they can get away with it because it doesn't hurt. Like I've been there before. But like, you know, it's a very complicated, nuanced topic. And being forced to stay in a relationship you don't want to be in or you're unhappy in is going to cause more abuse anyway. So
that's not every time.
I think, yeah, no.
But it's not healthier either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not healthy for a fucking kid to be part of that.
I just think that the goal should be to keep families together and that the goal should be to work through it.
First off, it's important to note that there are many different types of abuse, and some of these can be harder to identify, especially early on in a relationship, or they can take root later on in a relationship as people change, ultimately leading to a bad mental or emotional environment for the partners in the relationship. That being said, on top of that, claiming that most cases of abuse are mutual abuse is just not a thing. Mutual abuse is believed by experts to be a largely flawed ideology, since in domestic violence, usually the dynamic is that one partner aims to exert power over the other through a pattern of repeated control and sometimes violence. If the survivor responds to the aggressor with an emotional reaction, that is not mutual abuse. That is
I remember I was in a relationship with, this is gonna be a weird story, you know, and I've always, you know, I do have anger, like, you know, issues. I have control of them, you know. But I remember I was with an ex of mine, and I had to go to the bathroom really bad. Number 2, poo-poos. And I was like, she was in the shower, so I knocked on the door. I said, I really have to go. Can you please get out? She's like, oh, I'm almost done. I'll be done in a little. I was like, okay, but I really just have to go. And like, again, I would knock, like, I really have to go. I can't hold it. Like, I'm going to poop my pants. Oh, I'm almost done. I'm in the shower. Mind you, why can't I just go into the shower? And she would continuously do this over and over and over again. And eventually I almost shit myself. So I started slamming on the door to try to break it down because I had a poop and you know, I'm a grown man. I'm not trying to poop my pants. And then after that, all of a sudden, like, oh, you're so this. It's like, dude, like, you know, I'm not trying to have, I'm not proud of my reaction, but why are you doing this to me? Like, why can't I just go to the bathroom? Like, why? Like 5 whole minutes. First of all, why can't I just take a shit while you're in the shower? Second of all, like, why? Like, this is fucked up. Like, this is a very terrible scenario. So I've kind of been in those situations before, you know what I mean? And I'm not proud of myself for the way I've always acted, but it's like, God damn. You know, it's like, what am I supposed to do? Just shit my pants and say, oh, my bad? Like, I don't know, man. You just get my diaper, right? The fucking based, true.
It's just the partner responding to the abuse that's being exerted onto them. Unfortunately, because this is so often misunderstood.
Have I ever got really angry in the car? Yeah, that's when I start screaming slurs. Just kidding. But yeah, sure.
When that person comes forward with claims of abuse, they are either often blamed or not believed solely because of the way that they had a very human reaction to the abuse that was being done to them.
Yeah, I had an ex who used to steal money from me all the time too, and I was like $10,000 plus in debt. A lot of it because of her, and then I'd get really angry, and we'd have like a yelling match, and then all of a sudden, like, I was a bad guy again. Again, I wish I acted better, but it's like, dude, what the fuck, you know? It's crazy. This shit's fucking crazy sometimes, brothers.
Ask for equality. Here you go. Equal rights, equal less, baby. And you're going to keep seeing cases in the news where you see these, you know, these guys die because they were told they can never hit back. You know, it's interesting because a lot of
They're going to die from.
women blame the abuse on the men when really a lot of times
Go before she showers? You're right, dude. I should have fucking... Okay.
They were protecting themselves.
Regardless of any of this, Pearl still believes that women should get married as young as possible.
They can, if you survey
Yeah, just when they're 13, guys, go for it. Fucking idiot.
men between the age, if you survey men between the ages of 20 and 80, they're all the most attracted to 22-year-olds.
That's not true, just to be clear. She's basing this off of OkCupid statistics. She's basing this off of OkCupid. They didn't survey men. Okay, this is the OkCupid statistic, is that women tend to set their preferences around their own age. So if you're 50, it's like 45 to 55. And men tend to set their preferences from about 20, like 18, to their age, right? And I think part of that's because men are on dating sites a lot of the times to have sex. But then, like, if you look at the data, men are typically only interacting with women around their age. So it's not like what she's saying is stupid idiot bullshit. Do men find 18, 19, 20-year-old girls attractive? Some do, right? I think it's weird if you'll date one. You know, if you're a 30-year-old, 40-year-old guy and you want to fuck it, I don't know. I personally, I'd say kind of grow up kind of shit. If you're going through a midlife crisis and you fuck an 18-year-old, whatever, I don't really care. But dating one is especially weird. What do you have in common with a fucking child? But like what she's saying is just objectively incorrect. Like they reference this OkCupid statistic because they're fucking stupid.
Peaked 3 years ago, and you guys did too. At 22, 23, and this is men between the age of 20 and 80. So what men value is purity, youth, and fertility. And so like, what would you be able to offer to a guy?
So that's something I've heard you say. Obviously, you strongly believe that, right? That women who are past the age of 22, their value goes down, and all men just want young girls. So I guess what's the message behind this? Who are you speaking to, and what is it that?
I mean, it's just true. Men do want younger women.
And so your message to them is nothing. You're just saying that because it's true. I mean,
don't wait till 35 to get married. Get married as young as you can.
Right, get married as young as you can.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say try to find a healthy relationship. Sometimes it's not going to happen until you're older, though. But I would say, like, try to find one early if you can. But
Pearl also doubles down on her claims that some aspects of slavery are embellished.
But the problem is that you try too hard to find something. It might, you might end up forcing it, and it might be bad in the long run. So, you got to find it's just difficult to navigate these things a lot of times.
And refuses to comment further on the matter or rebuke any of her past comments.
In what way was slavery made to seem more horrible than it was?
I don't really want to go into this too much because we're kind of past this. But I was quoting a Thomas Sowell book.
Sowell, but she misquoted it, by the way.
So
I don't remember the specifics, but she like very heavily misquoted it to make it seem like super like predatory or something. It was weird.
Okay. So do you agree with that premise that slavery was embellished, or no?
I think that there are parts that are under embellished and there are parts that are over embellished.
Which parts?
I think it just depends what we're talking about.
That's so interesting. I've got to know what was over embellished about slavery. Just like one example, I'm dying to know.
I just
Are you retracting that?
I'd really just rather not.
Why don't you just say it? Like say it. Maybe you have a really good point, Pearl. Let's hear what your point is. Maybe slavery was embellished. Let's hear. You know what I mean? It's so funny that she's like, oh, I'm unapologetic about what I say, blah 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 blah. But then she's too afraid to say it. Say what you want to say. You think it's embellished, then like tell us the specifics about it. Let us know. Fucking just say it. Thank you so much for the $2 from Tregan, dude. Been liking the Fallout streams. Next one went. Good point. I struggle with the consistency on those, brother. Yeah. Maybe I will do one soon.
This portion of the debate leads her to end the call early.
Okay, so you disavow it then.
I mean, if we don't have anything to talk about tomorrow, maybe I'll just do a Fallout stream.
That's easy. Just say, I don't think slavery was embellished. I mean, that's super easy. That's like a layup.
I think there are certain facts that you're not allowed to talk about. I don't really want to talk about it. Okay, I really appreciate you having me on, but I'm going to go. Thank you.
George,
Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate you. Okay.
Have a good night. She hung up.
People were surprised by just how ill-prepared Pearl seemed to come to the interview, which made them question if Pearl genuinely holds these beliefs, or if, as others in her life have claimed, it's all just a grift to make as much money as possible.
This is the girl that sang a song about like how Hitler didn't really do anything wrong, and she's saying that it's too difficult to make this point on social media. It's fucking ridiculous. Obviously, she's full of shit.
Being intentionally inflammatory and controversial.
I think she's actually a grifter, like in the true sense, in that the one thing she always talks about is like how life is not fair for men, dating isn't fair for men. She literally just echoes stuff that like Fresh and Fit and Andrew Tate say because she's like a token woman.
Pearl just didn't seem very passionate about her beliefs, and when she was pressed by Ethan, she would oftentimes change her tune. H3 executive producer Daniel believes much of Pearl's online persona.
Daniel? What the fuck?
Is all fake. My takeaway from the last 2 days of looking into her, I don't know this for sure. I know you didn't necessarily agree with me, Ethan, but I think it's all fake. I think she's cynically leaning into it to get traction on the internet.
I think it's all fake.
Even those within the red pill manosphere realm began to believe that Pearl was grifting. On the looksmax.org forum.
Looksmaxing? I prefer Mewmaxing.
Which looksmaxing is a practice that originated on manosphere message boards. A poster says,
Oh, really? I thought it was just a silly little meme. What the fuck? Why do you gotta ruin everything?
Anti-feminist PearlyThings is definitely a grifter. I don't think Pearl Davis is completely fake in her beliefs, but she takes the most reactionary statements to create some kind of controversy. She clashes with traditional Christian conservative tradwives with some of the things she says. I hate to say pick me, but she does come across that way. Even those within the manosphere call Pearl a pick me, which is very sad. I think it's possible to believe some things, but also exaggerate beliefs for effect and get views. Pearl Davis is really a provocateur rather than someone for the trad movement. It's come to light more and more just how much those within Pearl's own circles dislike her, whether they disagree with her viewpoints.
But for the time being, it's like, okay, at least, there should be mandatory DNA testing at birth.
Yeah, just why? If you want to, you can already say that you want a DNA test as a man, and you will get it. So
I don't know why
it's calling my wife a whore to do that.
But did she stutter? Yes, she did. Or say they wouldn't want to date her because she's too masculine and argumentative.
Do you know why Pearl is available? Because even though she says the right things that men resonate with, She's
ugly. Yeah, I get it.
masculine as hell. Men like feminine women. Pearl is an advocate for what men want, but she's not what men want. Feminine women do not go online and sit on podcasts and argue with men all day long. That is not what men want.
Those who post outrage content are at least able to find some small community.
Bro, why are you still having a conversation about my poop in the fucking chat? Like, why are you still having a conversation about poop in the chat? I don't really understand. This one guy made the point later. Earlier. He was like, "Well, why didn't you just go beforehand?" I don't fucking remember. I remember how almost shitting myself. I don't know. I'm on fucking metformin. Maybe it came on very quickly, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have to poop really bad." That's life, man. How old are you? Do you not know how poopies happen? Sometimes you just gotta take a big poopsies. You know, you just gotta take a big shit out of your anus. You know what I'm saying? It's just fucking life, man. Poopy comes out of your butt, you know?
That accepts them and loves them.
Sometimes that poop be pooping. You got that poop slanging.
But Pearl hasn't really been able to find that. People within the manosphere or debating circles distance themselves from her. Men that she's wanting so badly to be picked from refuse to choose her. Pearl is now completely isolated herself.
Poop maxing. I'm poop maxing. I don't know what I'm doing.
From anyone who will choose her or accept her. And it's a path that she's willingly walked down and put herself on. So it is really hard to feel sorry for her about it. Ethan was not the only known person who challenged Pearl on her actions. Piers Morgan went in on Pearl for a controversial and nonsensical video that she released.
Yeah, is that the one about how like the Hitler was not so bad video? Sorry.
And with Piers Morgan himself being such a controversial figure in the UK, if he's making a lot of sense compared to you, then you know you have problems.
True, I agree. I agree.
As most of you know, in the summer of 2023, Colleen Ballinger's botched ukulele non-apology video for her many controversies went viral. Pearl, seemingly wanting to ride that attention wave, posted a video on YouTube titled
She couldn't even get herself a fucking ukulele. Incredible.
Why Can't We Talk About the Jews? Where she played the guitar while singing about Holocaust conspiracy theories.
This week,
yeah, pretty much.
She's facing a major backlash for posting a song titled Why Can't We Talk About the Jews before later deleting it.
Why
she didn't even know she was on there for that. That's so funny.
can't we talk about
Talk about us, bro. Just talk about it. I don't give a fuck.
without getting kicked off of YouTube?
You can. I have before. You can talk about this. I love Jon Stewart, my favorite Jew. Wish he was my dad. Anyway, he made a really good point that, like, yeah, we should be talking about this stuff. You know, when somebody asks a question like, hey, how come there are like disproportionately more Jews in Hollywood? You should be answering that question instead of telling people to be quiet. Because the answer is very simple. Jews used to not be allowed to be inside of the movie industry. So they made their own, and it just happened to be better. Cope and seethe, racists. That's it. It's not that complicated. So answer these questions. Like, why are Jews bankers more? Because like like back in the day, like Christians, I think in like Rome, weren't really allowed to deal with money. It's against the Bible. Right? So there's answers to these questions. When you just say, oh, well, you can't talk about it, it's just going to cause people to get more riled up and get more upset and get more angry, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? So answer the question. Just answer these very simple questions. There's an excuse for it. There isn't this magical fucking behind the scenes conspiracy going on. Okay?
Now I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy,
She said Hitler, by the way.
but I kind of want to know why.
She even claimed to think that
Well, he failed out of art school. That's why. So.
some of the out there theories are right.
Now there's all these conspiracy theories, and the more they talk, I think maybe they're right. But I can't even listen to the convo.
But like most of Pearl's content that
I guess she really thought that Nick Fuentes' audience was gonna be like, wow, this is so good. I can't wait to hear more of this fucking slop.
There's a lot of backlash. Pearl can't handle the heat, and Pearl would go on to delete this video 24 hours after posting. But of course, many people recorded this video and started spreading it across social media. Piers Morgan then invited her onto his talk show, where he pushes back on her and her video fairly strongly.
Huh? Did you find it funny? I mean, you know the backlash to it. I mean,
Look at how upset she looks. She's like, she feels super cornered, and she still looks like shit.
you obviously thought you shouldn't have posted it.
She has millions of viewers on the internet and on social media, and she's complaining about being canceled.
True, Hitler was a liberal arts major. Yeah, we gotta get rid of all those liberal arts majors. Just stop. You're being fucking dumb.
The preface is that this is what is profitable now. This clickbait, this type of racial incitement is profitable on the internet. Pearl will disappear. She will disappear. Like many.
It's true. She will disappear, guys. Very based.
Others before her, because this is something that's just a moment in time. She's like a train wreck. It's like a car crash. You know, for example, you shouldn't be looking at it, but you can't take your eyes off it.
While Piers Morgan in this circumstance seems to stand against what Pearl says and gives her a lot of pushback, Pearl had previously appeared on the Piers Morgan talk show a couple of times and received very minimal pushback for her controversial views from—
Well, I guess the whole thing, it's, yeah. We're probably about like men and women, a lot of bullshit. That's why.
Piers
like trying to dumpstering LGBTQ people or something, or like the modern woman bullshit.
Morgan.
But feminists have ruined marriage for the people that actually believe in marriage. The sanctity of marriage also rely on the woman being a virgin, so you wouldn't be able to get married. What do you mean? Well, you've spoken quite openly about how you're not a virgin, and so if you want to preserve that sanctity of marriage,
Damn, who fucked her?
I just think they're upholding standards that you don't actually.
This is the problem we have with women. Like men tend to be better people than us. Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that.
They really do.
Giving her a platform to spread her—
I'm a man, and I don't think men tend to be better people. I don't know. I'm not saying women are amazing, but I've met some real pieces of shit, man. I don't know.
views and her brand. Piers Morgan hadn't really held her accountable for any—
Maybe I just hold men to a higher standard, and that's why I feel that way.
Any of her statements until now. Pearl blamed a lot of the backlash that she received from this video on cancel culture. But what Pearl didn't seem to realize is that she can say whatever she wants online, because she has said whatever she wants to say online. It's the natural consequence of what she says that she can't seem to handle when she receives pushback or backlash, which is why Pearl consistently deletes all of her older videos, wants to avoid confrontational conversations whenever she's confronted about her behavior. After Pearl's appearance on the show, she went on an angry Twitter rant claiming she was censored by Piers Morgan and his team. Why?
Ooh, censored by Piers Morgan on uncensored on his show, uncensored. What a hippopotamus.
Does at Piers Morgan believe in censorship with a platform called Uncensored? She also claimed that the producers lied to her and said that it was going to be a pro-free speech debate and that they ambushed her with talk about her controversial video. Piers responded.
Guys, I just botched that fucking gang so bad. You saw that?
Saying, "You did an incredibly stupid thing with your now deleted video. As I said to you after our interview, own your mistake and apologize for the offense you caused."
You get on, and Piers says, "I'm gonna go hard on you this time," something like that. And I'm like, "Oh, really?" And I'm shocked because his producers have said all week he's on my side. So I'm like, what? It's like, I'm thinking this is a free
But they said they're going to go hard on you and you didn't know what that meant? You idiot.
speech general conversation. I could show you these emails with someone else on it. And then I get on and I'm like, oh no, this is an ambush.
Like, it sounds like it was to an extent, but like you didn't expect them to push you on your incredibly stupid thing that you said? You didn't think that that's going to be something that they're going to... How did I miss that? Okay, well, I'm just bad.
They wouldn't do. I was like, Pierce, what about our promise? I think we should start calling this Censored with Piers Morgan. And I'd also like to announce that I'm starting a network of my own. I'm calling it the Audacity Network because we have the audacity to have on all different types of people.
Pearl just wants a platform to spread harmful narratives with little pushback, which is not how social media works. It may be how very selective echo chambers work, but once you reach the broader space of social media, that's not how it works. Hence why Pearl announced after this controversy the creation of her own platform where she can have her own space to say her own narratives with zero pushback.
I didn't mean to use that button.
And maybe Pearl assumed that these controversial viral moments were going to lead to a ton of clicks and views, which would channel easily into a business venture, as all of her controversial predecessors have been able to easily accomplish. But at the end of the day, Pearl may have been missing one key factor: likability. Just having enough likability for a small subset of people to want to support your business venture. Because some people can click on a...
Yeah, I actually took a look at the Audacity Network the other day, like just clicked on the website, and I have no fucking idea who any of these people are. It sounds like she's trying to pull her own Daily Wire, but I don't think it'll ever be successful. I mean, the woman she's fucking dumb and uninsufferable, so I don't really see it really going anywhere.
Short segment of a video and like what you have to say, but will they like your personality enough to follow you and continue to buy what you're selling? For Pearl, it seems that was her ultimate downfall.
Yeah, she's annoying and unlikable, sure. Most awkward platform.
So Pearl went on to create the Audacity
Network. Oh shit, they're going to cover the actual platform? That's exciting because I have no idea what it's about, to be honest with you. So that sounds like interesting.
In 2023, with the goal of, in Pearl's words,
why didn't my fucking laner back?
Being like a TV network, but for YouTube.
So this year I started a network. And what the network is it kind of like the way I saw it was sort of like a TV network, but on YouTube, where we have different shows that we host and different. I'm just a really creative person. So it's
she's doing Daily Wire. I'm a really creative person. That's why I'm going to do my own Daily Wire. I'm so creative. I'm such a creative guy. I'm such a stinker. I'm just so creative.
Funny. I never really look at work as working. I mean, like occasionally I do. But to me, I'm just having a good time.
Pearl was posting this video for the purpose of trying to scout internet talent so that they could apply for the Audacity Network. But also, they have to pitch the show idea to her because the talent that she signs to the Audacity Network can't just do exactly what she does.
Now we're looking to sign
Bro,
talent.
why
Now,
aren't
guys,
you-
the issue I'm getting is you guys keep
guy's
applying
bad.
with the same exact show that I do. So you'll be like, Pearl, I want to do a show where we bring in people and talk about relationships. I'm like, well, guys, that's the exact same thing. So what am I looking for in a talent? Someone that has a unique idea for a show, that is a self-starter, so a hard worker, and they have like original ideas
And willing to take 5%, you know? 5%'s a lot. Trisha Paytas told us that.
of things that they can do. Yeah, I think that's like pretty much.
Damn, if they're the talent and they're putting together the entire concept of an added show, what are you doing? The Audacity Network homepage
I
advertises
mean, fundamentally speaking, it kind of makes a little bit of sense. Like, you want to put them on their platform. Like, hey, what are you good at? What do you excel at? You know? So, but-
itself by saying, dive into the ultimate media hub where freedom of speech and expression isn't just a right, it's a vibe. Break free from the norm as we champion diverse perspectives, challenge the status quo, and spark a revolution in dynamic content. It's more than just a platform, it's a movement. The thing is, you have to pay to gain access to these vibes. You could pay $10 a month or $80 a year. The Audacity Network also
$80 a year. What a fucking steal, guys.
claims to give you access to exclusive courses, but as of now, there's only one course available, and that's the How to Make People Feel Comfortable course. Because Pearl
What? Why would she ever care about that? Making people feel comfortable. I don't understand.
is very skilled at that. People all across the internet are made extremely comfortable by Pearl's inclusive viewpoints and statements. I mean, everyone knows that the easiest way to make someone be comfortable is to always be against them.
That's exactly true. True.
Choose violence, always. Pearl has her own page on the Audacity Network site, showcasing the variety of what I can only assume is riveting, entertaining, and informative content at every turn. On the platform are the pages of her other cohorts, Christine, which, just to note, the Christine Grace Smith of her name, which is a very average white woman name, is trademarked. How on earth can someone even trademark a name like Christine Grace Smith? How did you run that by the trademark office? And now can no one else in
Well, I guess they did it.
the world be named Christine Grace Smith?
I mean, I don't think it works like that. I imagine for a show, they can't, like the Maury show. I imagine that's trademarked too.
Lest they face legal repercussions from this angry-looking white lady
And people change their names on like social media stuff all the time. So
who will go after them and try and sue them? And if so, is she maybe doing a service to the world, saving others from the name of Christine Grace Smith? I'm so if your name is
maybe
Christine Grace Smith, I'm so sorry. There's also a page for the employee Troy, and his page looks like he's some sort of
wow, he looks like an interesting guy.
true crime novel author, and this is his big writer's debut, which sounds way more fun and interesting.
I mean, how successful is this? Is there a way to actually gauge the success of this show? Because it looks interesting.
What his content actually is, which is really just cringy pickup artistry. And lastly, there's Nazarin, whose page looks like it doesn't belong here. It gives off cool witchy vibes, but
She looks like a dirty liberal.
in actuality, her page is dedicated to tinfoil hat theories that your uncle probably found off of a Facebook page.
Oh, then she's a typical woman, right? Women love conspiracy theories. I don't understand why, but they do, and it's silly.
So, how captivating is this chosen talent of Pearl's? Well, about as captivating as Pearl herself. Troy has about as much charisma as my left toenail. Though to be fair, it is a very charismatic toenail. Troy is a dating expert, a pickup artist who helps men pick up women off of the streets. Literally, that's where he does most of his content. So let's watch Troy
What is he, homeless?
expertly navigate the streets, flirting with his small mic flailing in hand, a camera awkwardly aimed somewhere nearby. What does this Riz genius have to offer to the world?
Riz genius.
Okay, because we're in Palenque now. You're obviously a very classy lady. You're obviously, you know, used to some kind
Yeah,
of.
this is the guy that said, "Oh, I'll eat a mile of your shit just to lick your asshole." Am I right, guys? That's what I heard. I heard him say it, brothers. Dude, I'm so bad with this. I don't know why I can't aim for shit. That's because I'm scared. I'm choking because of you guys. It's all your fault, actually.
Lifestyle, so you've got to maintain that, right? You're obviously a very pure, innocent woman and very, very, very good principles. So this is what we like. This is what we like. Traveling around, doing some work and stuff. And you tonight, you go to the party, or what is your plan?
Oh, nothing. Okay. Christine Grace Smith, TM. I can't help but admit that I have a little bit of a soft spot for, a bit of a personal bias
It's just a little bit like Sydney Sweeney, right?
as a fellow video essayist. When I watch some of her content, I can't help but be like, I can fix you. Because she will actually do some research and talk about some studies, at least more than any of Pearl's content that I've ever seen. And there's a genuine feeling that she really does want to help women with her content.
Pair bonding is a biological, neurological mechanism. It was first arrived
Hair bonding, true.
in
Well,
1987.
you got to cuddle a lot. When you cuddle, all these hormones and stuff go through your body, and you fall in love more. It's incredible.
By people called Hassan and Schaefer. When an individual chooses to engage in transient sex, breaking bond after bond from each new partner that they're with, the brain forms a new synaptic map of one-night stands. And this pattern of attach, break, becomes the new normal for the individual. There's an
That makes sense to me, actually.
article that explains this. It's really easy
I imagine for men and women, no?
digest.
Though she tries to boil down really complex topics in really simple ways, and at the very end of her video, she comes to a very disturbing opposite world wrong conclusion. Like after so much research, still at the very end, her analysis is that women are in the wrong, feminism evil, and you have to submit further to men.
It's these same feminists that preach about female empowerment as an excuse to indulge in promiscuous behavior that also shame the ideal of being a wife. And where's the love there? If you can't already tell, I do not agree with anything that feminism alleges to stand for.
If I showed too much of Nazarine's content, YouTube will not like that. Suffice to say, she believes pretty much every out there thing you can think of, and her Twitter is a very interesting place.
I mean, Twitter is an interesting place in general, no?
Trying to make us eat fake meat and bugs.
Can you say your name one more time?
Nazarene.
Nazarene.
I keep flicking and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm Sneeko.
Sneeko.
It was great to meet you.
Oh, Lord.
You too. Nice to meet you.
When perusing the Audacity Network website, the message board is pretty hilarious because it just showcases who has actually purchased from the Audacity Network. And first off, it is not many people. And the people that have are technologically not savvy or from an older population. Like there was someone who couldn't figure out how to view the content in the Audacity Network. Another person
Okay.
and who talked about being 65 and how Pearl is a breath of fresh air to them. The Audacity Network also has an alarming merch store that sells merchandise with text such as "She belongs in the streets." The Audacity Network itself and its talent has mostly women in it. So yeah, that's a good look. But the funniest thing about this merch is that it's another person's tweet on it. I understand if you're selling merch with your own tweet on it maybe, but the "She belongs in the streets" merch features a tweet from Future. It just has nothing to do with Pearl and the Audacity Network, if I'm not mistaken. They also sell what they call whale merch, a call
making fun of the fatty chunkers. Of course, you need that.
back to when Pearl called other women whales, where the t-shirts describe different types of whales.
But are their channels demonetized too? How's she paying? No, this is an alternative website. So what they're probably going to do is, this is her main website now, and they are going to have you try to go to the other website. They're going to try to get you to shift over to the other one. That's going to be what they would do, right? So,
and on it has entitled Whale Beware. On the Audacity Network merch store, Pearl has also sold the Women Shouldn't Vote t-shirts.
All right, what up, guys? Today I have my Women Shouldn't Vote t-shirt.
ooh, got him.
These t-shirts are the best in the game. Super soft, amazing. You will never find a t-shirt like this in your life. And it's amazing because I go out and I'm on the streets and everyone comes up to me and just asks me where I bought this t-shirt. You can get yours too at the Audacity Network.store. That's the Audacity Network.
How come she just never looks good? I don't understand.
.store. Get your t-shirts.
No, God, please, no.
It's just all around a class act production, obviously. I mean, at least I guess they can say it's original merchandise, but not even, because they're selling a shirt with someone else's tweet on it. The Audacity Network overall has no delusions about who they are. They're 4 white people with what they call diverse opinions. As they said via their homepage, break free from the norm as we champion diverse perspectives. Both the Audacity Network and the merch store.
Thank you, championing my diverse perspective. I appreciate that. As you guys know, I'm not white. I'm Jewish, and you know what I'm saying. Those are very different things. Barely. Okay, just keep that in mind.
Are copyrighted by JustPearlyThings LLC. So the network is not.
Oh, so now I can't name myself Just Pearly Things? Well, I was gonna name my kid Just Pearly Things. What the fuck?
Not owned by a larger company with Pearl just to the face of it. It's Pearl's own company that she's trying to run. Though, are we sure that she isn't just running the company for a government grant or something? I mean, there's got to be some other dude that's actually running things apart from Pearl, if you ask me.
Oh shit. Was that true? Or are you saying that that's for the or maybe she's just mocking her about what she said about her mom? That's probably possible.
Well, though Pearl had dreams of running the Audacity Network like a TV network for YouTube, very soon after starting the network, virtually all of Pearl's other avenues for making income went up in flames. Pearl's YouTube channel ended up getting fully demonetized. Pearl went straight to Twitter, claiming she had no idea why her channel was demonetized and that it happened out of the blue with no warning from YouTube.
Pearl is indeed playing dumb.
But according to others, there have been some claims that Pearl tried to take her YouTube content too far. And, well,
yeah, from what I understand, YouTube told her, like, she talked to like a 15 or 16-year-old girl and like kind of berated her on like doing like some bullshit on the street content, and then yeah, that backfired for her. Like, that happened. They told her to take it down, and since you're not allowed to have videos of people under the age of 18 without their consent on the platform, that's what happened. So they fucking pulled her down. They spanked her fanny.
Received consequences from YouTube.
Let's look at this complaint here that was sent from a young lady who was complaining to YouTube about the exploitation of her sister. So she at Pearl and says, the TikToker / YouTuber Pearl stopped my 15-year-old sister and her school friends on the street to ask them invasive questions about sex on her YouTube channel. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. She made several cut downs of the videos and has subjected them to abuse from the hashtag Red Pill community. Now, this is something that's very important because that's harassment. That's against terms of service. So get ready for a daggone community guideline strike out there, Pearl.
And Pearl even kept this video in question up after all the backlash. Pearl even seemed to back up this person's claims on Twitter, responding to their post and saying that it was them and their reports who got their channel demonetized.
I have never even heard of this situation till this week. You have gotten my channel demonetized by mass reporting me, which affects the 15 people that work for my company who have families and mouths to feed. Then you falsely accuse me.
Damn, that's why I just work for myself. No fucking employees, pussy.
of asking some chick from a year ago about sex. Notice the use of chick to describe what was alleged to be a 15-year-old girl. I actually went and found the video right here. I'm not going to show the girls in the video, but you'll see here that she writes in the title, "These girls were so clueless." You will also see that the girls were in the intro or the teaser of the video. So there seems to be some admission that these were girls and not women.
Of course, this was not.
I mean, maybe that's possible. She also might have just been using the girls as a general statement. So
not the only terrible thing that JustPearlyThings has posted to YouTube. Pearl has posted and then quickly deleted probably an innumerable amount of things that could qualify as demonetizable offenses. And she's hosted a lot of people on her YouTube channel that YouTube has made clear that it does not want associated or on their platform. But this situation may have been the straw.
Yeah, I think did she get remonetized recently? I don't really know if she actually got herself monetized again. That part I'm not really aware of. I thought I heard she might have.
That broke the camel's back. And after Pearl got demonetized, her viewership plummeted. The very little social media power that she held in her hands slipping from her fingers. Since then, Pearl has tried to reapply for monetization.
Well, she also stopped posting on YouTube for a while. After she got demonetized, because she's like, oh, what's the point? Now she seems to be back, possibly monetized again. Not 100% sure, but might just be using it as a way to plug for her current channel. So,
but YouTube is not putting up with it. But this leads to Pearl tweeting via YouTuber O'Shea Duke Jackson.
Applied for remonetization early February. I was demonetized for saying the word.
We'll block that.
Since then, I've let go of 3 employees and lost over 100K.
Really? That's it? Like, that's a lot of money to lose over $100,000, but oh, apparently she said it was because she used the word, a trans word, a trans slur. Early February. So this is this tweet is from January 14th, 2024. So I can apply for, I was demonetized for saying the word. So is she, I don't know, how long was she demonetized? Was it 3 months? Or how long? Maybe it's 6 months. I don't know. I thought her channel would bring more revenue though.
I don't know if that's 100,000 subscribers or $100,000. YouTube gave me 0 strikes, 0 warnings. They play with people's livelihoods.
So with no other income, Pearl is probably relying more and more on the Audacity network. But with her YouTube channel down the drain, her TikTok accounts getting constantly banned, Pearl has very few social media avenues to actually promote.
That's what happens when you're just trying to get attention just by being provocative, nothing else.
The Audacity network. The money that Pearl has been making has likely taken a huge nosedive. All those employees.
Oh, is that a Jewish joke? Sorry.
Pearl tried to exploit. Pearl is now slowly letting go. What was supposed to be a grift that would last Pearl at least a few years so that she could get her network off the ground and capitalize off of outrage marketing died out almost as quickly as it started. Now, in a desperate attempt to grasp at Pearl's slipping platform, since she lost her ability to monetize her content, and most people believe her to be a grifter, lending less credibility to the things that she says, Pearl has gone full-blown troll mode, creating badly composed songs on her daily show in hopes that they go viral online.
Be the villain if that's what you gotta believe.
Believe.
They criticize me.
Believe in love after love. Something. Okay, I forgot the song.
At all costs, I know maybe that hope is lost. There's more to gain from lying than telling the truth.
She's so fucking delusional. She probably really feels this way, but she's like it's interesting. I think she really feels this way, even though her entire platform is to try to lie as much as possible. I think that she really feels like this is the truth, that like people are lying on her name, but she's dumb. She's the kind of person that feels certain ways and tries to communicate feelings rather than actual facts. You know, so.
So I'll be the villain.
I love the comment that says
she's still demonetized. She came out with a minute-long Twitter video talking about how she hoped to get remonetized, but it's kind of lost of what to do. Oh, that's funny.
The tortured pick-me department.
I'll be the demon if that's what you need.
The semen demon.
I'll be the villain if that's what you got.
Easy.
Dad, I need another loan. I can't do it. I need another loan, Dad.
To believe that what you say online has no impact. I think that many people who end up in this sort of grifting through spreading a harmful rhetoric have to con themselves into believing that selling themselves out for a grift won't be harmful. That because they're only one person, their words and their statements couldn't possibly have that much impact.
Dad, I need you to fund my shit again.
Especially if other people are doing it. Why shouldn't they try and make a quick buck and capitalize off of the grift too? But now more than ever, it's important to have balanced conversations where all groups of people can be respected, where we look beyond
Fuck you. Just kidding.
on the ruse of those who are making shocking statements just for the sole purpose of grabbing our attention. People who are making enemies out of everyone for the purpose of making a quick buck at the expense of our cultural well-being. Much of the reason why Pearl's platform failed is because she didn't understand that in order to gain some sort of loyal following, you still have to stand for something, apart from just hating everything. Because those who stand for nothing can fall for anything, which is
got him with that one.
What we seem to have seen recently with the fall of some of the biggest influencers in the manosphere. That's all for the video on Just Pearly Things. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. As always, I appreciate you and I hope that it was an enjoyable watch. And if you were doing something like studying, working, doing chores, I hope this was entertaining to help pass the time. Thank you to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video. If you want to get started on Rocket Money for free, go to rocketmoney.com/coolworldhappymind or click the link in the description. Also, thank you so much.
All right. Well, that was a pretty good video. I liked it. It was fun. That's all I can say.